Hello, Philadelphia! I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gorgano Show!
Live from the Xfinity Studio. Well. Good morning. Happy Wednesday to all across the Delaware Valley. Hope life is good on your personal end, because on our sports end, at least when it comes to the Eagles, the drama continues. Yes, it does. Yesterday, what we all expected happened. That's right. Kevin Patullo fired as the OC, and it all set the stage in the morning where Nick Foles was recounting a story from Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's friends with Patullo, and Patullo's kind of crying to him, Fitzpatrick, about this whole concept that it's not all his fault, that there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes people don't know, and they think I'm stupid, and they don't really get it, and that was the morning, and then afternoon he gets fired. Look, do I think he has more up his sleeves or whatever you want to call it? Yeah, I don't think he's a complete dunce. But it was just still fit. He couldn't get it done. He couldn't translate. See, one of the things that a play caller, an OC, an offensive guy needs to do is translate the offense to your players. So you go, well, Hurts has limitations. All right, well, it's up to you to either get what you can get out of them in your concepts, but also devise something that works within his. And that's the successful OC that is able to marry the scheme and the players and translate the offense for execution. All year long, the execution was terrible. I think we have a little bit of hey, if we just get the new OC and replicate Kellen Moore, all's good, and we'll be back. I got a nagging feeling that it's not going to be as simple as that. I just do. I don't know, and we'll get into the candidates and who you want to choose and who makes sense as the right fit. I just don't know that it's that simple anymore. I think this team, see, once you've gone to a certain level, it's hard to get back to that level. That's why people who say, well, it was an accomplishment. They won the NFC East. They won 11 games. What more do you want? Like that whole crowd? Everything's relative. You're judged by who you are and what your current lot is in the league. If the Eagles weren't coming off a Super Bowl and didn't have a great defense, then you'd say, all right, well, they won a division. The arrow's going up. That's really what you're looking at. Is the arrow going up now? I don't know, man. Let's think about this for a second. Offensively, you're going to have to figure out what you're going to do with A.J. Brown. Now, if you trade him, which it appears that's where it's headed, you're going to take a cap hit, a significant salary cap hit, even if you wait until trade him after June 1st. Like, you make the deal, you tell the team to wait. Like, what are you going to get? Because you're not going to get top dollar for A.J. Brown because of his own salary. and what his salary goes against the cap. I mean, the market for a veteran receiver, as good as A.J. Brown, I love A.J. Brown as a player, but you got a descending player. Like, he's not going to get better from here. He's probably going to stay the same and then start to descend. And you're going to pay top dollar, as opposed to going in a draft and there's all these young receivers and you see a lot of talent. So that's all going to affect your compensation. Unquestionably, A.J. Brown is a great receiver, but there's circumstance around him. So you have that situation to deal with. You have a tight end that you're probably not going to come back. Goddard's probably going to leave. It was a miracle he was back last year. So you're going to have to draft a tight end. And probably two, because you need a blocking tight end to replace Calcaterra. The receiver depth beyond A.J. and Devontae is not good. You're set at running back, but what about your O-line? You know, is Dickerson and Juergens, are they going to come back to the form which they were? And what about Lane? Is he coming back? Is he going to retire? If he comes back, is he going to be able to stay healthy? Lots of issues there. Steen was good in the pass game, mediocre at best in the run game. So you got some issues there. And then you got Jalen, who's your franchise quarterback. And is he on the decline? Now, he's young enough, so you go, he shouldn't be on the decline. But I think it's fair to say, despite the Patullo thing, he's still hitting play well. Like, in that game against San Francisco, he didn't stand in the pocket. He bailed early. How many times did you see him sprint right and throw it out of bounds all year long? Think about it, how many times that occurred. Like, he's going to have to fix that, and he's going to have to run. He can't not run in this offense. It's period. Whether it's this offense or any offense, part of what makes him good and really effective is that he's mobile, he can run. And in today's NFL, unless you're Stafford and have a ridiculous ability to thread the needle and get the ball out, you got to be able to move. You got to be able to run. I think it's a prerequisite for Jalen to do that. So that you got to kind of rebuild him for this next iteration. Now the question marks go to defense. Who are you signing? You signing Davis, you signing Carter. Both are going to want big deals. You're going to let Dean go, you're going to let Blankenship go. You got a couple of pieces you're building around. Cooper, Quinyon, great. Bond, great. I like Campbell. I think he's going to be fine. I like Nolan Smith, and I like Jalen Hunt. But you still need probably another pass rusher, another edge. And you got to worry about one of your tackles. You got a Jomo, but you need that other guy. So there's a ton of questions in play. They rode their defense. This offense was bad all year long. Is 1 year and Kellen Moore 2.0, whoever is that guy, going to fix this thing and get this offense going? I got doubts. I hope so, but my instincts tell me that they achieved great heights. This was an opportunity to stay there toward the top. And when they didn't get it done, I wonder, is it that easy to get back up where they once were? Everybody else gets better. Everybody's in a different stage of rebuilding. I don't know, man. I'm worried about it. I'm completely worried about it. Now, who's the OC? Well, let's go through the candidates. I'm going to bring in my man, VG. Good morning, VG.
Good morning.
How are you, buddy?
I was slightly depressed, but I'm a little more depressed now with all those weaknesses because I thought I'd be more excited about the Patullo. Like, it would feel better, but it doesn't. It doesn't.
No,
I think they cure any of my
I think
worries or anything.
You know what it is? It's like you got something ailing you, and one of the things that's ailing you is like you got a headache.
Right.
So you got rid of the headache.
Yeah.
But you don't
know. The whole body's still aching.
Right. The root cause is still there.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and this is where I don't know what Sirianni's still the architect of the offense.
That's what I'm saying. Like whoever comes in, you need to have whatever closet Howie was supposed to be in. That's where Nick's got to be because he's useless on the offense side of the ball. I don't want like Kellen Moore's. It was always Nick's playbook. That playbook's got to be burned. Every iPad, every whiteboard that's ever had one of his plays written on it needs to be burned and thrown out and given away. Do whatever they need to sage the place. Like he has to have nothing. I don't want to hear about turnovers. The new OC's got to have free reign, do whatever he wants, take shots downfield, do whatever. Nick can't be involved in that at all. And then you ask yourself, well, if he's not doing that, he's the vibes guy. The vibes stunk this year. The locker room had issues. They were undisciplined, bad penalties all year long. I don't know what his vibes are. He's barking at fans. So I don't know. So, yeah, Patullo's gone, but I don't feel good right now.
Is that the panacea, right? I mean, you and I kind of see it the same. So think about what's next. All right, who's out there to come in and rescue the offense? So it's a big list. So here are some of the names. Obviously, Kevin Stefanski, who I love, he's going to get a head coaching job. There's 9 openings.
I mean, he's at the top of my list.
He's going to get a head coaching job. I can't see Stefanski going, I want to come in here and work under Nick.
Yeah, I don't think that would.
You
happen.
got McDaniel. I think he gets a head coaching job. But if he doesn't, would he come in here and would Vic
That's the thing.
welcome
Right.
McDaniel after they worked together in Miami? It was a disaster, and McDaniel fired him.
Vic's our Tony Soprano. He would have to approve that. It would have to
Right.
have Vic's
Right.
thumb of approval, stamp of approval.
Some of the other names, the Nate Schielhaas, who's the Rams passing coordinator.
I could coordinate a Stafford passing game.
Well,
I mean, how
but
much
listen,
effort do you do if you have
I
a
love
Hall
guys
of Famer?
under McVay. But here's the problem. I don't know that those concepts work with Jalen as the quarterback.
Right.
So I don't know that Schielhaas is the answer either.
You coordinate a first ballot Hall of Famer, and you got McVay.
Right? I mean, even the guy could be really sharp. I hear he is. I just don't know that that philosophy jives with Nick's offense and whether it works.
Nick's offense is gone.
Right?
It's got to be.
Then you got like Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
Dable, I would have interest in because I think Dable is a pretty sharp guy. I mean, I saw what he did in Buffalo. I think his concepts can work here.
He seems kind of gruff. I don't know how that fits in here, but yeah. I would be okay with
he's a
Dable.
hothead.
Yes.
Nick's a hothead.
Right.
I don't know how
I don't know
those
if
two.
Jalen wants to deal with those two
And
together.
I don't know that Dable wants to work for Nick. I don't know. It's a possibility. Jared Johnson, who's the quarterback coach of the Texans. I don't know
Fine.
really much
CJ
about.
Stroud has kind of plateaued. You know, he came out great, and he hasn't been the same last couple
I don't
years.
know much about him. Mike Kafka.
I don't know why I
who was-
like Kafka when I see this. When I go over to this, I'm okay. I don't know why I'd be okay with that.
I mean, it comes from
It's
the
not
Andy
excited.
Reid. He would jive with Nick's vision offensively because he comes from that tree,
And he's a guy who
the
wasn't
Andy's tree, but it's still the same kind of West
and a
Coast base.
player who wasn't really talented. Maybe he's good on the book side.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I don't know, man.
Kingsbury,
He's probably
who
not,
I like, but
after Stefanski. He's number one for me, I think.
Kafka.
Oh no, I thought you said Kingsbury.
Oh, Kingsbury. Yeah, I don't see Kingsbury here, and I don't.
I don't see him dealing with Nick.
I don't see that. I think he's going to want a head coaching gig. There's 9 openings, and if he doesn't get one this year, I can see him stepping back and looking at college next year. I think he'd be better in college. Frank Reich is, I mean, I
Competent,
don't know.
but
I mean, you're going back in time. Like, is that going to be a fix? I mean, he's close with Nick. He's like an uncle to him.
Right.
I mean, I guess that's a possibility.
I'm afraid Nick would have too much influence with him there.
I don't know.
The one
I don't know. And then you got the 2 names out there. We got Todd Monken, who would be my number 1. All right?
Yeah.
But I don't know if Todd Monken's going to go with Harbaugh to whatever job that Harbaugh takes. But I do like Todd Monken a lot. I think he's older. He comes here. He's not like he's going to look for a head coaching job. He had a chance before, didn't do it. So I like Monken. And then you got Greg Roman, who was fired for the Chargers And believe it or not, I like Greg Roman.
Yeah.
Because of this. His specialty is the run game. He is a big-time run guy. And in this offense, I think you gotta just go all in back on the run and have Hurts as a complimentary quarterback in that sense.
I mean, I don't love Roman, but I like that aspect when you bring it up like that. But
he's a big run guy.
I guess I'm looking for someone who can work.
He knows how to do it. He knows how to run with. He knows how to work with mobile quarterbacks. Go back to Kaepernick
playing with Hurts' limitations. I don't know if he'd be good for that.
Who?
Roman.
Well, he worked with guys like Kaepernick. He's worked with guys who are mobile guys.
Right, but Hurts doesn't look to want to be that.
Well,
mobile.
maybe you rekindle that.
Right.
I mean, I don't know.
I was intrigued by,
but he's a good run guy.
Yeah, that excites me, and I was intrigued a little bit by Davis Webb because the Broncos don't have much on offense, but how much of that is Sean Payton?
What do you mean?
Like with the offense in Denver.
Yeah.
Like, I like Davis Webb as a thought, a quarterback's coach there, because I think he's done a lot with Bo Nix, which has limited skills. But how much of the offense is he contributing, and how much of that is Sean Payton?
Oh yeah, I agree with that. I was just trying to get your point. I don't know. See, these young quarterback coaches, I don't know that you would come here to be an OC. Like I think you got to go veteran OC here, a guy with proven football experience. Like if you're the guy, Shielhaas from the Rams, well, why would you leave? Like you could probably go parlay that at some point into a head coaching job right from the Rams. You don't need to go to Philadelphia and be an OC. And by the way, it's a tumultuous situation. So if I'm a young, hot name, I'm not coming here.
I know, that's worrisome.
The thing could blow up next year.
Right.
Like, you don't want to do that. I remember going through this with Spags, and before he went with Andy in Kansas City, he was navigating his career. We used to talk about this all the time, about, hey, do you want to go there? Because that next year could be a bad year, and if it blows up, you're collateral damage. Like, that's a real thought. And you have a team that is going to have some cap issues, your strength is on defense. I don't know. Barkley's another year older.
Right.
And you're going to have to get another receiver besides A.J. Brown, another tight end. I don't know what you're going to have, and I don't know what Jalen's going to be next year.
Right. So, yeah, a young guy coming up, if you get that stink on you, if it goes south quick, you don't want that.
I mean, that's a possibility.
Right.
I mean, that's a true possibility on what happens. I don't know. It's rare. The trajectory of this team, it's rare that you take that big a step back and then catapult back up to one of the elites. Now, it's the NFL, and, it goes up and like that. But, man, it takes a lot to stay up, in the elites.
They have done it, though.
Wow.
They have a pattern of losing in the wild card and then next year going to the Super Bowl. Right, and it's happened the last couple of years.
You're correct, but here's the problem. It's never, if you take a snapshot of this year's team and look at the snapshot of years past, it's different.
Could you not say that, though, about 2023? I mean, 2023 was pretty dreck.
Yeah, but here's what happened. 2023, you hit on that draft with Cooper and Quinyon. I mean, how often are you going to get two stud starters on defense in one draft?
Very true.
I mean, how does that and make immediate impact?
And it's not like you can bank on that happening this year.
And oh, by the way, you signed Saquon Barkley,
which was massive.
All right. So how many times are you going to be able to infuse that level of talent in a team? I mean, that's a rare circumstance.
Come on, Howie.
I'm not saying it can't happen.
Come on, Howie.
It's done, but I'm worried. I think there's legitimate concern here.
Well, it's hard to do it, too, when you got the quarterback contract and the contract you're going to have on defense. They don't have the flexibility that a lot of teams have.
Well, that's the other thing, too, because it was before you gave Jalen a big contract.
Right.
The money thing is real. That's a problem. Because, listen, in my world, I want to keep Carter and I want to keep Davis. I love those two together. I think Carter comes back. Now, I get there's going to be some concern about giving him a lot of money.
Yeah.
And how does he handle it, right? Like, we all know that he may have issues about handling it.
Yes.
But his talent is so good. It's so deep that I think you need to take the gamble. I mean, I'd hate to let him walk. And I love what Jordan Davis did.
Yeah, I'd be more. I could sleep better if we got Carter and Davis left. Davis, great story, great year, but I don't know. I feel like you could draft a big run stopper, and the drop off's not going to be as huge.
I like to keep the Georgia kids together too, cuz. No, and not for the Georgia thing, but I think Jordan Davis has a positive impact on Jalen Carter.
Yeah, I could see that. Yep.
I mean, I loved what Jordan Davis did. I loved his attitude. I loved his.
It's really a shame that they can't afford to keep Dean here. Dean is great. He just gets injured so much.
The same thing. It's a problem is going to be about paying him.
Right.
I mean, I would run it back defensively every day of the week. Give me Reed back. Like, I'm down running that back defensively. Problem is the money.
Yeah.
The money's a huge issue, especially if you're going to move AJ and
$43 million.
You're going to take a cap hit.
It's $43 million if it's pre-June 1st.
I think it's 18 if it's post-June 1st.
And then it gets kicked back, though, right? A little bit to
27 the next year.
And you don't get draft picks this year. Everyone's probably got their wide receivers and stuff.
I mean, it's
got to be a pre-June 1 draft.
It's a tough situation. It's why I'm worried, and I don't think this is, hey, let's just go get a Kellen Moore type of guy and everything's good. I think we're whistling past the graveyard.
Yeah,
I do. I mean, again,
I just
I'm not saying it can't happen because I think Howie is a great GM, and I think Howie can make personnel moves and figure it out.
I mean, he's the best in the biz.
But it's a feat.
That's almost why.
I mean, how many rabbits you going to pull out of your hat with, again, the Quinyon Cooper thing?
Yeah. If he goes 50% of the draft, it's great. And Mike G, when he came on, you guys were battling before you got into the battle. He was like, basically, there's a laundry list of issues. There's a long checklist that they got to figure out this season.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you. All right.
I thought I'd be more excited. Just wasn't even. It's like, yeah, of course I almost felt like, they fired him.
You know why? Because, it was a foregone conclusion. You knew they were. But B, you also know it's just not all his fault.
Right.
Right? Like, that's the truth of the matter. It's easy and convenient to lay all the blame on his feet and go, Aaron, he was an unmitigated disaster.
Yeah.
He was the reason. But we all know deep down that that's not right. That's not true. That there's a Nick issue there with his offense. Mm-hmm. There's a Jalen issue there that whatever the messaging is didn't get through. And let's be real. The Nick Jalen dynamic has never been great. I mean, this year was at least tepid, right?
Yeah, previous years it felt like Hurts hated him.
He didn't like him, and he kind of made it obvious that he didn't like Sirianni. So I don't know. I don't know where that goes. I'm trying to look at it objectively and with clear eyes because I think that's part of the decision making you're going to have to make for this team.
Yeah,
Band-Aids, I don't know that you got enough in the closet, in the medicine cabinet.
This feels like a reality check moment.
I just don't know. I hope I'm wrong. EJ's coming up, so we'll get to EJ, and we'll talk with him about these issues. Franny Films, we'll check his expertise, and Mike Sielski, one of the great voices. We'll talk to him as well as the brain.
Oh, nice.
For a
little brain action.
Little check-in for the weekend's football.
Yeah, I need some help.
All right. So we'll go. How'd you do last night, Trash Man?
Yeah, I'm down to 15-6. Villanova came out strong last night. Big road game for them.
At Providence.
Yeah, they won by like 6.
All right. Lots to get to, but first let's hear a message from our friends. Let's talk about Parx Casino and the BetParx Sportsbook online casino app. Listen, if you can't get the Parx, you got to check out the BetParx app. It's got you covered for everything. All the big last weekend of football where we got 2 games Saturday, 2 Sunday, and then the national championship game Monday night. I don't know how San Fran doesn't get blown out in Seattle.
Still 7.5.
I don't know that they can go in depleted. Like they're not going to be able to score. They got no Kittle. They're not going to. I don't know how you're going to move the ball.
Well, we saw it 2 weeks ago. They put up 3 points against that team.
Yeah, I don't think that changes. I like Houston. I'm riding my Texans.
+3.
I love their defense.
By the hoof, 3.5.
I think that they can go in and shock the world. And Indiana lay it. By the way, there's always another way to win on the Bet Park Sportsbook online casino app. All the casino games, live dealer blackjack, roulette, you name it. BetParks.com has all the details. Get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down the first 24 hours. Got to be 21 in PA, New Jersey, Maryland. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, our friends over at TrueMark Financial got something really cool going on, and it's all about savings because we know it's hard with those big banks to get any good return on your savings. So if you've been looking to take advantage of a great way to boost your savings, here's one you don't want to miss. TrueMark Financial is offering a limited time, 5-month certificate at 4.25% APY. And with just a minimum deposit of $500, it's an easy way to get started. Whether you're saving for a special goal, building an emergency fund, or looking for a smart way to just make your money work a little harder for you, this is a perfect chance. This certificate is a great option, and you get it at TrueMark.com, and you can do it easy. If you don't want to go online and do it, you can visit one of their 24 branches throughout the Delaware Valley. So the annual percentage yield is accurate as of 12/15/25, subject to change. The certificate requires a minimum deposit of $500. They are federally insured by the NCUA. So visit TrueMark.com for all the details. That is TrueMark.com.
All right. Thank you, VG, for that wonderful message about Kelly Body and True Bond.
My pleasure. Love delivering it.
EJ, can't wait to talk to him. Pick his brain on what's happening on the Xfinity mobile call-in line. EJ Smith. Good morning, EJ.
What's going on, guys? How are we doing today?
Today I'm kind of like level-headed, looking at things, trying to look at things sans emotion, and trying to figure out what's next. Put myself in Howie's shoes for a moment. VG said it like he didn't feel the glee after he got his pound of flesh with Patullo. And I think there's a real reason why. Because deep down, while he was not good and did not perform well on the job, that the issues transcend him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I feel like this was the obvious move. This was sort of the easiest lever to pull, after the way that the season went. But a lot of the issues that we've spent a lot of the time talking about over the course of a season and earlier this week, they still exist. I'm really of two minds about the Eagles offensive coordinator opening, because on one side, you're going to work with a lot of talented players. Obviously two of the last 4 offensive coordinators have gone on to become head coaches after one season. So, there's an opportunity there. There's a high ceiling, but it's also a tough needle to thread because of the personality dynamics at play with Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, the philosophy of how those guys want to play. And I think that there still is, some projection on what this Eagles offense is going to look like, even if they get the ideal candidate. Even if we're going to talk, we'll talk about some of these guys. Some of them I don't know about the fit because of those dynamics that are already at play.
Yeah, I want to go through each and every one with you. But first, you know what this reminds me of? Because it's a cycle, right? And we repeat the cycle. This reminds me of the year after the Super Bowl, where they kind of limped in, right? Foles almost rescued them again. They won the double doink, remember? And then they went up losing. And then the following year, there was another step down, and then Doug was gone after that year. And it feels like we're in a similar position. Doug and Wentz, we're gone. I think this coming year, it's going to go one or two ways, right? Like either Howie's able to rescue it with a couple key additions, or both Sirianni and Jalen could be replaced in the following year. Like that's kind of the pathway you're headed to.
Sure. No, I mean, we've seen the template, right? I mean, you just laid it out. So I think that there is, obviously, I think that there is some equity that you have as the head coach a year after you win the Super Bowl. That's understandable. Although I do think it needs to be a decision that's made. I think Fran put it best when he said, like, it needs to be a decision that's made forward, like looking forward.
This isn't thank you for winning the Super Bowl and all this other stuff. You got to think, do you have faith in that guy to fix it?
Right. But again, there's equity there, so I think that, going into next season, there's going to be urgency for this Eagles offense. Because listen, they're in a championship window. That defense is going to get more and more expensive, and, they're going to have to eventually pay the bill on some of these guys. And, because of that, they don't have a lot of time they don't have years to waste here, So I do think there's going to be an urgency going into next season. I think that depending on who they hire, there is going to be like a litmus test with Jalen and Nick in a lot of ways. If they hire a proven offensive coordinator who has, a way that it looks, every stop that they've been, and it doesn't look that way with the Eagles, then it is going to fall at the feet of Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, and then that will set up, an offseason of heavy scrutiny for those two. So again, we've seen it happen before, so we know it can happen. But you're right. I mean, there's a lot of variance that you could see from this.
You know what it is. I mean, and this is an age-old thing. Buffers, Senator. You got buffers. And they just got rid of one of their buffers. And now Nick's got no buffer. It's on him. Like, This is it, dude. Mr. CEO, you got to fix it. Like, it's on you. Here's my issue, is that how do they add to the roster more than just an OC and a Kellen Moore situation? Because are you moving AJ? Because all signs appear that there's a divorce there, and you're going to take a hit.
Yeah, to me, I heard you guys talking about Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, and I promise you this will all tie together. I think you do want to pay both of those guys, but it's really, when you look at that type of situation where you've got guys who are going to have big contracts, long-term contracts, that's where moving AJ really actually helps, because you're going to free up cap space, not really next season, but in the years to follow. And you're going to free up cash as well so that you can pay those extensions. So in that regard, I think that it does make sense from an Eagles perspective, at least in some areas, right? Obviously AJ is a great player. We're not going to discount that, but I also think that, being around AJ all year, I think that I don't know. It's one of those where I think that each side will be able to benefit enough from a divorce here that it probably will make sense to move him. It depends on what you're going to get. It sounds, and obviously it comes with the necessary caveat that Howie Roseman is not in the business of trading elite players usually. But I think there's going to be enough benefit on both sides that I think it could get done this offseason.
Yeah, I think he's gone, right? But here's the problem. Is that if you do it pre-June 1, it's $43 million hit. You do it
now you got to have the designation on there. Yeah, the post-June 1 designation. Yeah, you got to, because otherwise, it's going to be.
And that's 18. That's 18 next year, and 27 the year after.
Yeah, but you spread it. I guess you could make the argument, like, you just take the hit right away and clear out the cap space the following season. But I feel like the 43 in 1 year is too much to take.
I know. And here's the other issue that you have, is that when you trade him, that team's going to have to fit him under the contract, on their cap. So it's going to diminish what you get in return.
Yeah. Yeah, but I still think, he's not going to, I don't think he's going to get, like a premium. I think it'll be an early draft pick. Probably not a first, but I think you get a second for him.
Yeah, I was thinking more like a 3.
Okay, maybe the contract pushes it down to a 3. I still.
I like AJ. Like, don't get me wrong, I like AJ, but I put myself in the GM of other. Like, if I'm New England, and I know in the market of a receiver, and there's a lot of connect the dots between the Eagles and New England because of Vrabel and the obvious in Tennessee.
Sure. Yeah.
But if I'm them, I got a good young receiver in Ryan Williams, and while I would like AJ, I mean, I'm not parting with a high pick because I don't know if he blows up on me or is a pain in the ass. I like him, but I saw him not finish routes, right? I mean, I'm just putting myself in the shoes of an opposing GM and say, yeah, I'm down for a 3, but nothing higher.
Yeah, I think the contract will be a big part of it. I could see a market forming for him. I mean, there's going to be enough teams with young quarterbacks that, see him as a proven, consistent performer. And I do think we spent a lot of time over the season talking about if he maybe had lost a step. Maybe there's like a 5 or 10% that he's missing there, but he's still a really good receiver. And I think that, the conditions, his state of mind this season probably played a bigger role even than the physical stuff.
Yeah, I agree with you. My only trepidation as another GM, because I'm investing in that. Like the contract's an investment.
Yeah, no, there's long-term concerns.
Is he going to be a pain in the ass?
Yeah.
That's real. That's how I would look at it if I'm the GM. I go, I like the player, and I'm going to invest real dollars into him. I mean, I can't lose you, man.
Yeah, I mean, this is now the second time this has happened in his career. No, it's a fair point, but I do think he fits that mold, like a wide receiver that's going to have 2-3 years at every stop, right? That's that.
I know, but that prohibits me from giving you I'm down with it.
That too, yeah.
But if I'm buying, right? If I'm trading for him, it's going to limit what I'm going to give you. That's my only point. Because I agree. I believe in the player. All right, so now we're talking about losing A.J. Brown. You're going to need a tight end, right? Goddard's not coming back.
You need 2. You need 2 or 3 probably.
Right, because Calcaterra, you got to replace him.
Yeah. Yep.
Is Lane, who knows what happens? Lane, he could retire, right?
Oh, I definitely think that's on the table this year. Obviously, yeah, no, their succession planning there. I mean, Fred played all right this year. Do you want Fred to be your starter? I don't think you want him as the heir apparent to Lane Johnson necessarily. You're at least going to draft somebody that you think could have a runway there. So no, I mean, there's a lot of moving pieces with the offense, and that it informs this offensive coordinator search. It's not going to be quite the same group, but it's still going to be. I mean, I don't know if you guys disagree. I still think it's going to be one of the more attractive jobs. I think that there is going to be. I feel like enough of these coaches are going to have the confidence in themselves to look at the roster and go, I can become a head coach if I go.
Yeah, we just went through the roster offensively though. So I go to an OC. All right. And listen, I'm not trying to dissuade this, but I've used to do this with Spags, right? Because he was my buddy, and when he was looking for gigs before he went back to Andy in Kansas City, we used to look at teams, and we go, well, you got there, you got here. Here's where the coach is. This is where that's at. Looking at not just the personnel. So I look at the Eagles personnel. I go, all right, I got Barkley. I got a core of an O-line. I got Devontae I love. And I got a quarterback that I don't know where he's at. I don't know. I saw some regression. He's not running and he's not hanging in the pocket, right? So that's a question. Now he's a proven winner, but there's some issues there. And then after Devontae and AJ, assuming AJ's gone, I got nothing in the receiving group.
Sure, yeah.
So and then I got a coach that I can't step in and fix it, right? So it's my show, but I'm going to take the fall if the thing goes the other way, and the coach will probably get blown out.
Yeah, my counterpoint's this. If you look at it's not like there's a lot of great offensive situations that are open right now. There's a lot of jobs, but if you look at it, Steelers, Ravens, I mean, we probably feel about the same way about the Ravens offense right now. Dolphins, Browns, Titans, Raiders, Giants.
Yeah, but these are all head jobs, right? But if you hold on, if you're a head job, Pittsburgh to me, I would argue is the most attractive because that's a team that has shown patience, that needs a complete rebuild. They don't have a quarterback. Anytime you're talking about a head coaching job, you're coming here as an OC.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the guys who will be OC candidates. I don't think that somebody would turn down a head coaching opportunity. Maybe some of like the worst ones, but you're not going to turn down a head coaching opportunity to come be an OC with the Eagles unless you don't get the job.
Okay, so let's look at jobs that have OC candidates. They just need OCs.
So Commanders, you prefer the Commanders to the Eagles?
I don't like the Commanders. I love Jaden Daniels, but I don't like the Commanders.
Chargers?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't.
Lions, I think, is the one that's obvious. I think the Lions OC job is an attraction.
Right. The Lions, the Chargers. I would rank it: Lions, Chargers, Eagles, Washington.
Okay. Bucks are the other one. So where are you putting the Bucks?
I mean, they got a ton on offense, man.
Yeah, but Todd Bowles, that could be a lame duck year. I mean, maybe you look at it like they hire you if you're the OC that year. You know, if you have a good.
All I know is I look at that year. I look at that group and I go, I got Baker, I got Bucky Irving. I got McMillan. I love McMillan. You don't like Bucky Irving?
No. But as you're reading it out, it's like I think the Eagles stack up fine against that group. I do.
All right.
I think that there are dynamics here at play that are real.
Ibuka and McMillan.
Yeah, Evans
and Godwin.
Well, I'm assuming, but they're veteran guys, right? I'm going with the younger guys.
Yeah, I agree that there are dynamics at play that are going to give some guys pause. For that reason, like we can talk about McDaniel. Honestly, like let's talk about McDaniel for a second.
Okay, let's do this. Let's go. I have a list. I'm going to run the list by you. We'll go each one. All right.
I'll try and be rapid fire. I'll be honest. I was up until like 2:30 in the morning researching all these guys. So I got a lot to say. Yeah.
All right. Let's start with Stefanski, or let's start with McDaniel. All right. Okay. I like McDaniel. Is Vic Fangio want to go work with McDaniel again? If there would happen to Miami?
Now that's a good question, but honestly, does Mike McDaniel want to work with Jalen Hurts? Does Jalen Hurts want to work with Mike McDaniel? His offenses have one of the highest middle field pass attempt rates in the NFL. Like to me, it's like, have you seen?
Yeah, so let's X him out.
Yeah, they'll say that people will say like, one person's like, and it's only 10 p.m. and then the other person's like, it's already 10 p.m. and then those two people marry each other. Like that's Mike McDaniel and Jalen Hurts. It's like one of them loves middle field targets, the other one couldn't be further away from him. So I don't get the fit personality wise. I also am not sure if that's going to work.
I agree with you. I'm with you. Stefanski's not coming here to be an OC.
Yeah, I don't see. I think he would be perfect personality wise, experience wise, being able to come in and say, this is what we're running, take charge of it. But for that reason, he's going to be.
He's not going to come in and work with Nick. I don't see that. You got Shieldhouse, the kid from the Rams, the passing game coordinator. Yeah, I don't think that's a fit. First of all, young guy. Why would you come here? Stay in L.A. and you'll go get a head job at some point.
Maybe you think you'll get a head coaching job. And listen, I agree with you. I think that Shieldhouse has an issue on both sides because there's a volatility there. If he's great, he's gone in 1 year. And if he's terrible, then he's off to get a soft landing somewhere in the Shanahan-McVay ecosystem. I think that might be the reason why he would be interested. But I don't think they can afford to.
If I were him, I wouldn't come here. I mean, I'll be honest. And he doesn't fit their offense. Their offense doesn't jive.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one.
McCarthy.
Yeah, I saw you had him on there. So I mean, he's got the West Coast background. I don't know. I guess that's like a CEO of the offense, Vic Fangio on offense type of hire. When I saw it on your show, it kind of interested me a little bit, but it wasn't one of the top guys I had here.
Dable.
So I actually think if you separate Daboll's personality, he's a good fit. I think he makes
agree
sense.
with you.
And I think if you look at some of those offenses he authored in Buffalo, like that's high level stuff. It ranks really highly among this field. My issue, and he's got the connections to Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni. My big hesitation with him. I mean, you saw him with like grabbing the headset, shaking like in an utter rage. Like I don't know. He's got to call.
How about the two of them? How about the two of them? combusting on the sidelines together.
Big Dom will
It
lose
just
his
seems like a
mind
very
dealing with those two
combustible
guys.
situation.
It's the way Dom's
Yeah.
dealing with that.
Dable's got to be in the coach's box if he takes the job. That's
Yeah.
that's in the contract.
Sit on the other side of Vic. But I agree with you. I like Dable.
No, I mean I think a lot of it fits. It's just a matter of if the personalities work.
He's number 2 on my list.
Okay, we might have the same number 1.
Number 1's Monken. I just think I think Monken. Now I don't know if he's going to go follow John to wherever he goes. But
I just feel like he'll follow Harbaugh. But so number 1 on my list is going to surprise you. I talked myself into this. It's Kingsbury.
I like him. That's what I said earlier. I'm high on him.
I think
so. I'm a big Kingsbury guy.
Yeah.
But I don't know why he comes here.
That's fair. And obviously there were past reservations about how him and Stoutland mesh, which to me, that's like a non-starter. The Eagles are already going to lose some good assistant coaches, I imagine, in this process, but Stoutland's an untouchable figure, obviously. So, but if you separate for that, he's got the experience as a play caller. He's run offenses that will really cater to what Jalen does and what Jalen needs to do.
Yeah.
He's got a track record of coaching high level offense. What I did last night is I stacked all of these candidates up, like their best seasons against each other, and I was really surprised that Kingsbury had 2 in the top 7 and 1 in the top. I think his season with the Commanders last year was number 2 among all these guys. So, he's obviously had really, really high level, efficient offenses. And I think the other thing that stood out to me is, we talk a lot about the middle field targets. Kyler Murray under Cliff Kingsbury was accessing the middle part of the field. Now, I think it's hard to project that from Jalen, but if you have somebody like Kingsbury, at least that has a track record of helping a shorter quarterback, someone without, too much experience in that area, opening those spaces up and kind of making it simple for the quarterback, you could talk me into it. So I don't know if he comes to the Eagles. Again, he's going to have head coaching opportunities and he's going to probably have his pick of jobs. But if I were the Eagles, I think he does make a lot of sense, just in all these different areas.
Yeah, I like him too. For all those reasons, I like him too. I just go, if I put myself in these shoes, I don't come here. Actually, I'll be honest with you, with the way they're paying in college, I would go back to college if I were him. And I know there's a bunch of jobs and he's going to put his hat in the ring for a lot of these jobs, which is fine. But if I were him, I would go back to college. I think either way, he's a 1-year deal. If you get lucky and you get him, he's only here for 1 year.
Yeah, I think he is probably, and he fits that for sure. But I also think that there's at least a little bit of they've seen what it looks like as him as a head coach in the NFL, that you might get him for 2 or 3. Like he might interview for jobs but not get one. But I hear where you're coming from. I had some outside the box ones that I wanted to throw your way. Listen, I know these are outside the box, so don't kill me for any of these.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ready? Lincoln Riley?
I love Lincoln Riley, but again, I put myself in Lincoln Riley's shoes. Why would I come here?
Maybe he wants to get out of college, And again, if he looks at it like you spend a couple years, authoring a good offense with the Eagles, and you get an NFL head coaching job.
Listen, I like him.
Yeah.
I just, again, I go, I'm going to come here and work under Sirianni. I'm Lincoln Riley.
Maybe he looks at it like an on-ramp for something better,
that's a part of the equation. When you give me these guys that are accomplished guys, I go, I'm going to work under this dude? Really?
Yeah. Does G.J. Kinney attract? Yeah. I think he's doing great stuff in college. Obviously, he's got a lot of connections in the building. His lack of NFL play calling experience. I saw you guys had Gerard Johnson too. I want them. I would want them to have a proven play caller, someone who is I have done this at a high level in the NFL.
Yeah, I think that's the guy they're going to go after. Let me throw this name at you because VG didn't like it, but I think he could fit. He's a fit here, and it's Greg Roman because he's a guy that can lean into the run game. And if you're going to win, you're going to lean into the run game. He's from down the shore, so he's from the area. Not that matters, but I just think he's such a run guy that it could work.
I see where you're coming from. I do think that that's like that would tell you a lot about where the organization is at with Jalen Hurts. You know, if you're like, I think because that would be a commitment to a style of play that the Eagles have not wanted to play for a long time under Jeffrey Lurie. Now it might be effective, if you build it around an offensive line and Saquon Barkley and Jalen being a part of the run game. We've seen what it looks like in Greg Roman offense.
Well, it would have to be because he's worked with mobile quarterbacks before, and he's had to do it that way.
Yeah, like if you told me that they this is all pretty out there hypothetical, but if like they traded for like Malik or brought in Malik Willis in the offseason, traded Tanner McKee for something, and like you're really committed to like quarterback inclusive run game, it would make sense. But again, it would tell us a lot about what the organization thinks of the quarterback there.
He feels in my initial impulse, he feels like a step backward, but then I think about how they won the Super Bowl and they went backwards like 30 years in offensive strategy. So maybe there's something to it.
Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting one for Jeffrey to sign off on that.
If you're going to move, to your point, EJ, if you're going to switch things up, well, then you better go get a new head coach. Because as long as this guy's here, it's his offense. It's still his production.
Yeah. No, it would absolutely be. I mean, if you're bringing in Greg Roman, you know exactly what you're going to get. And in that regard, it makes sense because I think that's what they need. They need someone with a clear system, what they want to run, because otherwise it's going to be, a similar situation to 2 years ago where it's like, whose offense is it really? I think that, it's not the highest ceiling move, but again, you kind of know what you're going to get there.
Right. All right. Reich.
Yeah, to me that's too like same with Sirianni. I mean, the argument for it to me is that, but this is a bad argument, that the offense just needed somebody with a better feel for calling a game. Like that's how you talk yourself into Frank Reich. Like run a similar offense, have continuity, but you have an experienced head there that is the one that's going to steer the ship. But I feel like the Eagles' offense needs more than that. I feel like it needs more of an overhaul than just having an improvement just at the play caller position.
I think you're right, but I don't know how you do that with your limited personnel and the quarterback who at best is at a, what would you call him, status quo?
Yeah, in the pass game. Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I mean, you could totally see a scenario where he's the they strike out on some of the top guys. They bring in Frank Reich and he just calls a good game and they're fine. But I don't know, going into it, especially with the personnel stuff we talked about at the top, you feel like you need like a difference maker. I'm not sure that I consider like Frank Reich like a sea change type of guy. I see him more as like, Eagles offense, same iteration of the Eagles offense, just again with a better play caller on the headset.
Yeah, I agree with you.
He feels like a white toast, like a white bread, like a good piece of white bread. But no, I'd rather have rye or something else.
If they hired him though, I wouldn't kill him for it. I wouldn't say like, oh, that was a bad hire. It's probably a safe hire. But I guess with some of these guys, if they bring them in, you could squint and see them being, one of the top 10, at least a top 10 offense in the NFL. With Reich, it's probably like. You're expecting to be like.
You think that this offense could be top 10?
They still have a lot of talent, Anthony. I don't know.
But again, AJ's leaving. We don't know about Lane. Goddard. You need two tight ends. To your point,
I'm not saying like
what's
they're going
the
to be
talent
a top
that's
5
here?
offense.
Barkley, Hurts, Devontae.
I still think that a lot of. I mean, it's closer to the pack, but if they can rebuild the offensive line. I still think that there's enough talent there that they could be a top 10. We're not talking about like, leading the NFL, leading the league in like, EPA per drive or something like that. We're just talking
where do they finish this year?
Yeah. But again, that's why they fired the OC.
But you again, off of this year, you're losing A.J. Brown. You have question marks on the O-line. You have a question on the quarterback. I mean, I don't know how this offense all of a sudden vaults into the top 10.
I mean,
unless you went out and got drafted a stud receiver who's going to play right away and be a difference maker, and you get someone to get in Jalen's ear and you fix him. Because right now, he bailed from the pocket way too early. Like, how many times you see sprint right, bail from the pocket, sprint to the right, and throw it out of bounds this year?
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, I think that's why we're talking about these guys. That's my argument with Reich, is that if you're telling me that the scheme's not changing that much, I don't have a lot of confidence that they're going to turn it around. Some of these guys I do think they can, though.
Is the scheme not changing because it's Nick, or is it because it's not going to change because it's Jalen?
Well, if they bring in Frank Reich, I think that's a Nick type hire. You know, that's leaning into what Nick wants to run. You know, some of these other guys probably lean more toward Jalen, but again, that's why some of these like big names, I don't see it, because it's like there's too much foundation already established by these two guys. You know, it's not carte blanche.
Is this next hire first of all, Patullo, was that a Nick hire?
Yeah.
Strictly Nick,
for sure.
Because the wording was like it's like I decided. It's almost like Jeffrey and Howie were like, no, this press release going out and you're going to say I decided to do this.
Yeah, my read on that is that they wanted to make it clear that it was Nick's decision. You know, I don't think obviously I think in the past we've seen instances where the owner, where Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman were more involved. I think that was probably the messaging there.
So do we think this is
a Nick hire? He had the
This will be a Howie
and Jeff hire.
This will not be a Sirianni hire. Okay. It will be a Howie hire.
Like zero say.
Howie,
like, this is your dude.
Howie, because I know Howie. Howie's first thought is, I'll fix it.
Yeah.
And this is not a collab with Nick or anything. It's like, here's your OC.
Perfect.
EJ, it's never dull.
This team is never dull.
It's never dull.
It's amazing.
Well, the last one I had for you was Josh McCown, and then jokingly, I had Jalen Hurts' dad in my list.
I go him.
Senior.
I go senior, man.
Yeah,
I go senior.
It's going to look how Jalen Hurts wants it to look, right?
Yeah. I mean, listen, might as well just go all in and see if that'll save him.
Yeah, get Mr. Sirianni in here. We'll get the Pops in here.
I'd rather have Mr. Sirianni be the head coach than Nick. Let him be the assistant. We love you, EJ. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, no, fun talking to you guys. We'll talk soon.
Always. We'll be talking a lot, so you'll be sick of me. We got the brain. Quick check-in with the brain I want to get to in a minute. But first, we got to take care of some business and talk about our friends. I wonder what the brain's going to say about long-term in the future.
He was on.
Look, you want Jalen Carter out catching passes? No. All right? Come on now. Not worth the risk, the time, the money. Keep your stars focused on doing what they do best. Same goes for your business. You don't want your top people buried in operations, tedious, time-consuming, redundant activities that wear them down. Togo can help any business look to reduce operating costs, from customer service and accounting to order management, logistics, admin, data entry, even complex multi-step operational processes. We take it off your plate. Every Togo program includes dedicated staff, custom automations, US-based process engineers who act as your quarterback, giving you complete control, total transparency, and instant efficiency. At Togo, they turn your playbook into performance. You call the plays, we execute. HarnessTogo.com. Scale smarter, work faster, stay focused on winning.
Let's talk about our good friends over at Elkin Chevrolet. Elkin Chevrolet is run by three brothers, real brothers, local guys. And right now, they're lining up deals that are hard to beat. They got a huge inventory of Chevy trucks. They got SUVs, everything people actually want to drive. Silverados, Silverado EVs, Colorados, Trailblazers, Equinox, Suburbans, Tahoes, they got it all. And the prices, well, they're going to move fast. If you've been thinking about it, now's the time. Whether it's getting to the game, getting to work, or just getting out of town for a bit, you'll drive off in the perfect ride at the perfect price. And here's the thing. This isn't just like a one-and-done kind of place. These are the guys you go back to because they treat you right. There's no runaround, no games, just real people, real deals. Elkin Chevrolet, it's real brothers, it's real deals, And it's a whole lot of honking good service going on. They're easy to get to, Route 73 South in Marlton, New Jersey, just over the bridge. And you know what we say, together, let's drive.
Let's drive. All right. I want to check in with the brain. And obviously this weekend's football. But also the brain is brilliant when it comes to the future. Brain has a great eye for futures.
I remember him saying he was fading the birds. He's like, it's hard to stay healthy for a whole season.
No, he knows the future. I want to see what he has to say. Let's welcome to the Xfinity mobile call-in line, La Brain.
Brain. Red, the brain finder.
Good morning, Brain.
I got to check my computer. I think there's some sound issues. I thought I heard you say Frank Reich, but I'm having issues. Obviously, no one was talking Frank Reich. I thought I heard that, though. So I'm going to maybe go to the store and get a new computer.
There's a lot of Reich talk because of his connection with Nick. And obviously, he knows the people here. Obviously, I'm with you.
Come on.
I know. I agree with you.
Yeah. I mean, that's like do you ever see the movie Blast from the Past with Brendan Fraser like 30 years ago? I feel like Frank Reich was probably in that dungeon with him. And maybe he's reemerged.
Like, I'm completely with you. By the way, Harbaugh is meeting today with the Giants.
If I was him, that's where I would go. And
so would I.
Funny. It's such easy to see the parallels between the Patriots and the Giants. It's not hard to see. It's like right there out in the open. You just got to see it and take advantage of it, which I'm going to be doing. If they get Harbaugh, that's the team that I think absolutely has the best future the next 5 years in the NFC East, if they get a great coach like that.
I agree. I'm with you. So you have a knack for futures. You have a knack for them. I see, unfortunately, and I hope I'm wrong, but I see parallels between this year reminded me of the year after they won the Super Bowl with Doug and Wentz. Right?
Yeah.
They had the double doink. Nick Foles almost rescued the season again. It kind of played out. It was kind of like we kind of knew that, we were hoping, but it wasn't the same. And then the following year was a down year, and Howie wound up moving on from both Doug and Wentz. So we've seen him move from coach and quarterback before. I could almost see at the end of next year him doing the same thing.
Yeah, Anthony, look, again, the Eagles are such an interesting team to me. And, as I said, all year, this team, they showed us who they were. It wasn't like someone like bringing a surprise on you. Like, wait, what happened here? And I know, and I said to you, I go, out of all if I had to script, and you're a great writer, I'm not, but if I had to script the game to sum up the Eagles season, I would just say, Your Honor, here's the game, watch it. This summed it up perfectly. I said there's been worse losses in terms of, when you lose the Tampa Bay game going back 20 years ago and the NFC Championship game, the Super Bowl heartbreak where I thought they were the better team, the Kansas City and the field was bad and the pass interference I thought was shaky at the end. Much more devastating losses than last week. But in terms of a loss where you walk off the field and you say to yourself, who should have won that game? Who's the better team? Maybe John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, I don't think they'd say it, would say the 49ers should have won. But that's the situation, where you're like, all right, I'm gonna pick this coaching staff and this team to run this team. Everyone would pick the Eagles in that game. And watching the game, you're just like, how's this game? I'm saying this, how's this game this close? They're so much better. And it's just the 49ers have nothing. I thought it was the worst loss in terms of what should have happened versus what did happen in a big game. In a big game, I'm not talking a regular season, week 9 game, who cares? I'm talking in a big game. Thought it was and I'm 54 years old. I thought this was the worst loss in my lifetime, factoring all that stuff in.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're right. Other than Tampa, I mean, that was a game. This was a bad loss.
But that game, at least they lost to a Super Bowl champion, Anthony, that was a legit deserved Super Bowl champion. They were great. Same thing. I mean, maybe the Eagles should have beaten them.
Well, how about the Carolina game that came after the 4th and 26?
That was a bad one, too. Yeah, they were favored. But again, here's the thing, and you're right, but I thought those teams, Anthony, the difference is those teams were at least really good they lost to. They at least were good teams.
Well, to your point, I think that the Eagles were a 6-point favorite. They weren't nearly as high favorites.
No, they were like a 3 or something like that, or 2. This game, again, with losing Kittle, I mean, the 49ers, that he was their, I mean, I guess McCaffrey's their best guy, but Kittle would be their second best, indisputably. And I just felt, and they're already missing like their entire defense, just felt it was a game they absolutely should have won, even on their worst day, walking in with hangovers, And it was, as an Eagle fan, I was just incredibly disappointed. And there's just so many layers I got into. Like, I just feel like they didn't tap into what Jalen does well. What is the thing that Jalen does well? One of the best 5 or 6 in the world is he's physically tough and he's a great runner of the football. But no, let's take that out of our game plan completely. We don't need to run for him. Let's just make him a pure pocket passer like Peyton Manning. That's all we need to do. Again, I'm not getting $20 million to dissect this, and I see stuff that's first grade math.
Right. So I guess my only question, because I see the same thing you do, is was that a Jalen situation? Because you hear, again, I don't know what's real, because
we don't know
I hear things, a lot of things that say he doesn't want to run, right? But I don't know what that means. Like, he doesn't want to run. Yeah. Okay, well, he doesn't want to run during the regular season. He doesn't feel like he wants to run. When? Like, is it the OC that can't make him run? Or can't get him to run? Like, what is that? I don't know.
Let me ask you a question, Anthony. And it's funny. And I live in a world where maybe I'm too stuck in the Pat Riley world, where if Patrick Ewing said, I don't feel like blocking shots or defending or getting rebounds, Pat Riley, like, get the F off the court. You're off the team. Or Charles Oakley would punch him in the face. Are you kidding me? You're not going to. If a player of that magnitude really said, I'm not, and had that diva thing, I would actually say to myself, okay, this is good. Why would I say that? I'd be like, this is not the guy who I want as my face of the franchise. I'm going to move on from this before the word leaks out that he's a selfish player. I would hope that's not the case, but I couldn't. If I'm paying someone $55 million a year to be the face of my franchise, $55 million a year to do that, and again, I have no idea if he said it or not, but if he really did say that, to me, that would be a situation I'd be like,
well, what if it's not? What if he doesn't have confidence in his own running, of his own athleticism, like he did before? Like, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out reasons why he didn't want to run as much. Guys take hits, man. And the last 2 years, he's taken some big hits.
He's a tough man. He's a tough dude. So you talk about taking hits. I mean, again, I'll say this. He ain't taking any more hits than Josh Allen and Justin Herbert have taken.
I know.
I mean, and those guys keep running.
We watched that game Sunday night. Yeah.
That was the most hits I've ever seen any quarterback take in any sport.
And they were vicious hits, too.
They were all like, it's like, anyone who doesn't like Justin Herbert, congratulations, watch that game. And if you don't like him, wow, I've never seen a athlete take more of a physical beating than that guy took that game. But my point being is, Anthony, listen, this is not to sound trite. And again, I'm a total wimp. I never compare myself, Mike. These athletes are so tough, and I always give them credit. They are so tough. I'm not tough like these. These guys are the toughest people in the world. But when you're a quarterback like Jalen, Jalen's tough as nails. I mean, I would never take away his toughness, ever. But that's what he signs up for. That's the job, right? That's just what it is. That's the gig. And so I would say to that, if that's not for you, then you shouldn't be playing, right? Because that's the gig. That's today's NFL. These dual quarterbacks, they do run. Lamar Jackson runs. Josh Allen runs.
They're all dual. Like, they all do. Baker Mayfield runs.
Correct. That's the gig.
Purdy ran, right?
Right. That's the job, Anthony.
Yeah.
That's the job. I would answer that thing. Then you're in the wrong job.
Yeah.
And he's not, with all due respect to him, and I would think Jalen would be, if in a private moment would admit this, he's not Tom Brady. He's not Drew Brees. He's not Aaron Rodgers.
Well, that's yesterday's game, right? Like, the only guy that still plays that way today is Stafford. I mean, Rodgers did, but Rodgers
probably is.
Yeah. What's that?
No. Stafford is probably. You're probably right, Anthony. You're right. If you could be the best, like kind of like a Steph Curry in terms of shooting, in terms of throwing the football, like Stafford? Sure. Go find a Matt Stafford.
I can't think of another one. I mean, other than your old guys like Flacco and that. Because even Burrow moves.
Burrow has a little mobility to him. Burrow is a little shape, but Burrow would be the closest one I'd say. Burrow, but he's not a statue. He's just not. He's not Stafford, but he's not Jalen. He's not Mahomes. But that would be the only other guy. But yeah, it's hard to be successful in this league now if you just are a passer of the football. And let's be honest, Jalen is not like, that's just not his, that's not what made him great in my opinion.
Listen, I think you're right.
His dual ability to contribute everywhere.
Hey, we got about 60 seconds.
Yes, sir.
This weekend, early lines, who you on?
Well, Anthony, look, Buffalo, Denver, I'll make it quick. Look, the only way I can look here is the Buffalo Bills side. I do like the under as well. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I'll just take Josh Allen. Although, again, everything else besides the quarterback, I like Denver better. But I just think Buffalo will find a way. Seattle, I think Seattle is going to win the Super Bowl. I'm probably going to get smacked in the face for this prediction because of Sam Darnold. But I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I have them in my future. I think they're going to beat San Francisco fairly easily. I like them. That's the team I'm most confident about. Houston, New England, don't get this line. I got in a big argument with a buddy of mine. He said this line would come in at 3. I told him he was nuts. I said it'll be 1.5 or 2. It's 3.5. Stunned, not shocked. I like the Texans very much. I think that line is incredibly disrespectful to the to the Houston Texans. And then Rams, Bears. Lean here, Rams. But again, I think the Rams are a little bit overrated. As much as I think the Bears are nothing great.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with all your picks. I see it the same way. But we'll dive further into it. All right, tomorrow night. We appreciate it, buddy. We love your brain.
You guys are the best. Fiji, Anthony, appreciate you both.
Thanks, buddy. The brain checking in. We'll dive into it deeper, but I agree with him. I think the Texans are getting – everybody's gaga over the Patriots, and I get it. C.J. Stroud couldn't play worse than he played on Monday night. I think he plays much better. I'll hold on to the ball a little bit. And I love their defense. I ride that defense.
Know you do.
He didn't know how to handle the ball. It was crazy. He was like practicing on the sidelines.
I mean, like, imagine, he gave him 3 turnovers.
Yeah.
3 turnovers.
They were trying to give the Steelers that game.
Yeah. They do. I mean, well, Rodgers, their defense is so good. They couldn't do anything against that Texans defense.
The Steelers haven't had an offensive line in forever either. They've got offensive line issues every year. They can't even run the ball.
Man, you have no one to give you space. All right, let's go to a Supreme Football Mind to dive deeper into the OC situation. And he's got a great head for all this stuff. You got to check him out. Draft will be vital this year. And Fran Duffy has you covered. All right? Become a diehard. Get Fran's newsletter. Get all his breakdowns. It's elite stuff. On the Xfinity mobile call-in line, Franny Films.
They do not crave food nor drink for nourishment, for they exist solely on the glow of the all-22 monitors. They are the Leatherheads, and he is Franny Films.
Good morning, Films.
Morning, Ant. Morning, VG. What's going on, guys?
Good morning.
All right, Films, let's dive into the OC situation because that's dominating the conversation after Patullo got fired. First, is this as an attractive job as people around here think it is?
Absolutely. To me, this is as good of a situation as you could ask for. If you are a up-and-coming offensive mind, if you are someone who is established, if you are a Kevin Stefanski, if you are a Mike McDaniel, because there are a lot of paths to success here. I think, first of all, obviously, you're joining an organization that's going to provide you support. From the financial standpoint, they pay their assistants well, they pay the coordinators well. You got that, check. Organization's well-run, check. You've got the personnel is as good as there is. I mean, as good as it is. Now, we can get into, is A.J. Brown going to be here? That's a question. Dallas Goedert, is he going to be here? That's a question. Lane Johnson, is he going to be here? That's a question. But, again, this is an organization that understands those things and is going to they're not going to ignore that.
Listen, when you come from that standpoint, I agree. Because I think Howie and Jeffrey were to give all the support in the world.
Yes.
I'm a little... we differ just a little bit. At least I'm afraid of what next year looks like, because AJ Brown's going to be traded. There's going to be cap ramifications off that trade. Yep. You brought up Lane. I don't know about Lane, right?
Right.
You now all of a sudden you go, all right, I need a pass catching tight end and a blocking tight end because Goddard's gone. And I look at the rest of the O-line and I go, all right, I'll give you Dickerson, Juergens come back, right? And I love Mailata. Steen was okay in the pass, was just all right in the...
It's fine, yeah.
In the run game. So I go, all right, it still should be good, but losing Lane's a big deal as judged by their record, if Lane doesn't come back. Then after Devontae, I don't know, I got nobody, a receiver that's a difference maker. I got a head coach it's his production when it comes to offense, and I don't even know what his offense is. So I get a little, and defensively, which is how they won, you're going to have to make key decisions on both your stud tackles and figure out what's going to happen there.
Yeah, I think the way I'm looking at it right now, though, if I am, again, if I'm Stefanski, if I'm Mike McDaniel, if I'm, Nate Scheelhaus, if I'm like any of them, all across the spectrum here, because you've got the talent, you've got the support, and there's lots of ways that this can go. To your point, right? It could go south. That's true. It could also be the case that we saw with a lot of these other coordinators, where all of a sudden now this is an escalator to getting another job. To me, I look at this, and this is as good of a situation as you could ask for if you are one of those guys that's coming in to take over an offense. Because I'm going to be honest, I think this is going to be closer to what we saw in 2023, where Jeffrey Lurie, Howie Roseman, they come in and they say, "Hey, this is your show," and it remains to be seen if that will be the case. Obviously, we don't know that, but my guess is with how that offense looked this year, anything that had to do with that, not going to be involved, right? Whoever these new voices are that are going to be running the show offensively, they're going to carry the heaviest hammer, and so to me, I think that's a good opportunity for any of these incoming offensive coordinators. And again, as bad as this offense was, and we talked about it, as bad as it was painful to watch this offense for large stretches of this year. They still were middle of the pack in a lot of statistical categories, and you have all of this talent, and you say all right, if you elevate to a average scheme, not even the best schemer in the world, you get an average scheme. All of a sudden, you have if it's the 14th best offense by number, you're getting into 10. You're getting into 9. And I think that goes to the point that EJ makes earlier. It's all right, that's how you get into top 10. If we want to get into what the Rams have done, what some of the elite offenses are and what they're doing, look at what the 49ers did and how good that offense was. We talked about it. They're scheming things up for 32-year-old fullbacks and receivers that were on the street 3 weeks ago. Right? It's not like they're dealing with all the best talent. A great scheme can raise the floor and raise the ceiling of the offense. But when you have
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that notion. Okay? And let me just preface this. Man, I love your optimism, and I hope you're right. I do. I hope you're right. And, I trust your opinion. I trust your eyes. And I agree with some of your key points, like the front office, what the value of scheme is. I mean, there's some things that I do buy about Patullo that it's not all his fault. There's no way in the world he looks at it and says that Jalen Hurts, no, Jalen, I don't want you to run. There's no way in the world that he went into a game not wanting him to run out of shotgun. When I see those ends crash, there's no way in the world, right? There's certain things that play action just didn't exist. You're going to tell me something as basic as that when he's under center that he doesn't change the play? I think there's dynamics there with Hurts. And as much as I like Jalen, you gotta fix him. Right now, he did not sit in the pocket and stay in the pocket and deliver a ball and get smashed. He bailed early. He sprinted right and threw it out of bounds. We saw that a million times this season. That goes into the factor as an OC that wants to come here. And by the way, if I'm Kevin Stefanski, I'm not coming here and working for Nick. I'm going to go get a head job.
Oh, if you have the opportunity to get a head job, you get a head job.
Or
but
I stay.
There's only so many of those head jobs.
and
right.
go into TV for a year and then go get a job.
I think to me though, all the things you said about Jalen are right, and those are flaws in his game. There are flaws in a lot of these quarterbacks around the NFL. You still won a Super Bowl with him last year doing those things. You went to a Super Bowl 3 years ago with him doing those things.
You won the Super Bowl last year because their defense was elite. Their O-line was the best in football, and you got Saquon Barkley. How many off seasons where you can add Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, and Saquon Barkley, two blue chippers in the draft, and an all-pro running back? That's
right.
rare.
So then you have to find other ways. You're not going to replicate those things, but you try and do other things to raise the floor. The rising tide raises all ships, right? So
yeah, but you're also
you have a great scheme.
You're hitting your head on the cap too. Like and if you're going to trade AJ Brown, that just makes it worse. And what am I doing with the two tackles?
That's why it's all hard. But I think that to me, and you made the point earlier about it's not all Patullo, and I wholeheartedly agree with this. And that's what I said yesterday when we had the emergency show after the announcement was made on Patullo. We talked about it Monday's show. This is not just strictly fire Kevin Patullo, remove Kevin Patullo, problem solved. That is not to me what the issue is here. To me, this is to your point. Sometimes if you have a head coach, you have an offensive coordinator, you have a quarterback's coach, you have a pass game coordinator, you have the quarterback, you have a backup quarterback. All of these guys go into a room and they come up with what the weekly game plan is, how we're going to execute this plan this given week, and going into a season, hey, this is going to be our identity. Sometimes those ingredients, like when you're putting a recipe together for a meal, those ingredients, if I put marshmallows and pineapple and tomato paste into a pot, it's not going to be a good combination, right? But you take those separate things and you do different things. All of a sudden, I remove the pineapple and I throw something else in there. All right, now this is going to be a little bit better. So to me, if I'm looking at Jalen Hurts, I need to find an offensive coordinator that either is going to be able to assert his will and say, hey, Jalen, this is what we're doing. Like, come hell or high, like Ben Johnson. You look at what the dynamic between he and Caleb Williams over the last year. All reports, anyone I've talked to in that building, anyone that everything that's been front forward facing in the media, it has not been like sunshine and rainbows. Like it's not like those guys have. Yeah, it's been hard coaching, right? And I'm not saying that's
he started that in the preseason with Beijing. You're like. Go ahead.
Yeah, like you need to know what buttons to push, and that's with every coach and quarterback combination. And so, to me, it's going to be a situation. Whoever they bring in, how are they able to mesh with Jalen Hurts? Are you able to get the most out of him? If you want to be a straight under center play action, all right, this is it. All right, great. If you're going to be hey, we're going to be a point and shoot offense. All right, great. Can you get the quarterback to do what he does best? Can you leverage his skill set? Can you mitigate his weaknesses? Are you able to just thread that needle? Because that's what all the successful teams do on a given season.
There's a clip going around of Nick Foles yesterday breaking down that final play. And I think that final play, when you see the three heads huddled together, figuring out what they're doing, is very telling. I mean, Nick is saying nothing. He gives a head nod, so he's not involved. And then you have Patullo staring at the chart saying stuff, and you see Jalen talking. And I'm just relating it to an OC coming here has to be able to work with Jalen and what he likes to do. Where Nick says that final play for Verts, he can't imagine as a quarterback being in a situation where the coordinator is not letting you almost as the quarterback pick the play that you're comfortable with. This is what you want to run in this moment, what you feel good about. And if that's the kind of play he likes to run and he feels good about, the four Verts, can any OC change that up?
Well, and that's what has also on the outside, we don't know what the answer to that question is. And so I think ultimately, it's going to, that question is it gets to the heart of the issue, right? And so it's going to be either how do we find the things that Jalen is most comfortable with and wants to run? How do we modernize that and make it so that, this is going to work? Because just because it worked in 2022 or just because it worked last year doesn't mean it's going to work this year. Teams adjust, teams adapt, teams understand, hey, this is their fastball. We're going to stop the fastball. Now what do you got? Like you can't just play the hits when you are a football team. So I think at the end of the day, yeah, you always want to lean into what the quarterback likes to do.
Here's the problem with the quarterback, and this is where I get a little squeamish because I want to believe it's an easier fix with a new voice. But if he really has a reluctance to run, I think that's going to hurt you because that's taking away one of his superpowers and what he does. And you may have to change things at the line of scrimmage where he's not calling out the protections, where you may have to dive deeply into the weeds to fix that. And here's where it was gnawing at me. And again, I'll preface it again, man, I'm hoping that what you see and what you say is right. I think there's two things. Either it's going to be like it was going into last year with Kellen Moore, or it's going to be like what it's going into last year of Peterson and Wentz. And Howie just says, you know what? At the end of next year, they're both gone, and I'll replicate it again with a new coach and a new quarterback.
And to your point, and that's why it's important that 2020 did happen. You know, they bring in Rich Scangarello, right? You bring in those guys where it's like, yeah, like we have here. Rich Scangarello is our under center play action Shanahan tree guy, and we brought in a number of other assistants, some from the college level. We bought someone from shotgun spread, and we're gonna blend all these ideas together. We're gonna have this big melting pot. But instead, it was a Frankenstein offense that couldn't walk in a straight line, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think that the fact that Jeffrey and Howie lived through that hopefully informs their decision when it comes to how to set this up. And I think that.
But even if they set it up with correct, like I don't know, we'll get into who you like in a minute. But even if they set up correctly and they go get Dable, Monken, or any of these people, right? And it's set up correctly, you're still banking on the fact that Nick is still the coach and Jalen's still the quarterback, and that he can get Jalen to the where that pass game is not, 0 for 7 in the second half.
And if they might get it to 3 for 7 or 4 for 7. And, is that enough if the offensive line gets back to the level that we expect and the run game follows suit? Like, that might be enough. Like, that would be enough to win that game the other day.
That's all a possibility.
Right.
Again, I think it's an equal possibility that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's never boring. It's going to be very interesting to see how that all plays out.
So, and me, I'm not a negative person, right? Like I want to look positive, so I want to look at it. I'm worried. I'm legitimately worried. Talking to people, it worries me about the state of the quarterback, about where whoever comes in, like Jalen's going to have to be on board with him.
Yep. That's what I mean. Like there is work to be done. Like this is not. It was not just as simple as like take Mike McDaniel and replace him with Kevin Patullo and all good. Like that is not the reality of the situation. There is still a lot of work that needs to be done.
All right, so let's move Stefanski out because I don't think he has any interest in this job. All right, I wouldn't, but that's just whatever. He would be my number one. Other than that, I'm a Dable and Monken guy. I think both those guys fit. Now, I don't know, Monken may go with Harbaugh to New York. Right. I mean, I assume that probably be the case. But I want a guy like that who's a strong voice. Who do you like?
Yeah, I think that, to me, you could sell me on a lot of these, and it would make a lot of sense. I think that Monken, Dable, I will say that the one thing with Dable that does give me a little bit of pause, and I want to give a shout out to Deontay Lee over at The Ringer for bringing this up on social media yesterday. I would be a little bit worried when you have the fiery personality of Brian Dable and the fiery personality of Nick Sirianni. To me, like that is the good thing when it's like when you have like Jalen who's down here and you have Sirianni who's down there or up here. They kind of level out. To me, like if you throw another, you throw another chili pepper in there, like I don't know, like that does concern me a little bit in terms of what those dynamics could be. It could be entertaining, but that would concern me a little. Now, he and Nick Sirianni have a prior relationship. He and Jalen Hurts have a prior relationship. So I think that there could be something there certainly with that. Me personally, I would be very excited by Mike McDaniel. This is a coach that the Eagles had expressed interest in previously when he was in San Francisco, and he was the run game coordinator before he got promoted to OC. And they tried to bring him in as offensive coordinator, and San Francisco blocked it and promoted him. That would be a name. And again, depending on how the rest of the musical chairs go with this head coaching cycle, that would be a name that would very much interest me.
So I would agree, but let me throw this at you. A lot of his stuff, he's a big attack the middle of the field guy.
Yep.
Not the quarterback strength. And I don't know how he and Vic would get along after he fired him. I mean, I got to ask Vic.
To me, like, they're adults. I think you got to, those kinds of things have happened in the past. My guess.
Yeah, but you never know how the relationship. You're right. Yeah. But sometimes two guys really don't like each other.
Right.
That's real.
If Vic was the head coach, I would be a little bit more worried about it. But separate sides of the hallway, I think you could survive there.
Yeah. Middle of the field, worry you?
No, because you know what? Like, I think back to Jalen at Oklahoma with Lincoln Riley, and that's an offense like highly schemed, like doing a nice job in terms of like leveraging matchups and creating space for playmakers. Jalen's numbers work in the middle of the field at Oklahoma in that final year were really good. Like, if you do things to scheme up the middle of the field and create opportunity, and it's not just like a hitch route and a ball route, and then it's going to be there and get guys to trust it. That system has proven to like get guys that have not attacked the middle of the field previously and gotten them to do it. So I would definitely be intrigued by that. That wouldn't be a turnoff for me.
Yeah, I like McDaniel, so I'd be happy with that. What about Greg Roman for a guy that leads heavily into the run game?
Yeah, I think that'd be a pass for me. I just think that, yes, they've done some creative things with the run game, and you go back to the thing, but too often that offense, when he has been at the helm, is just kind of, they run their head into the wall, and that's that. I think I would look elsewhere. That would be one of my least favorite of the choices available.
How about Reich?
I would say that would be. I like Frank Gregg a lot. I think he did a great job when he was the offensive coordinator here in 2017 and previously. That would not be my favorite choice either in 2026. So yeah, I would say that's probably be a no fly for me.
All right, Kingsbury, if he would come here.
That one would interest me a little bit. Obviously that they have talked in the past. He is when you look at some of the offenses that he has put forth in the NFL. The numbers are very, very good. And you say, all right, like if you pair that with Fangio, you pair that with this GM, like, yeah, you're cooking with gas. I would have some questions in terms of the defenses in the second half of seasons typically try and typically figure that out. Can you be a little bit less static in terms of how you utilize your playmakers? Now, there are flaws in that offensive scheme. Sorry, there's flaws in every offensive scheme. But I think that I would be more open to that than certainly some of the other names we've talked about.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just going through a list.
Yep, sure.
I think by and large we agree. I just don't. I think some of these guys. The only thing I think I disagree with you a little bit is how attractive. Like I think it's not I want to stay away, but I don't think it's as attractive as you do. And I wouldn't want to come here. If I was a proven guy, I'd have a little trepidation about Sirianni unless I knew him.
All right. I got the open offensive coordinator jobs written down here. Would you rather, and obviously some of these are like head coach openings.
I'd rather be in Detroit and I'd rather be with the Chargers.
All right. So you got Detroit, Chargers.
I'll take, well, come on, Herbert? Are you serious? They lost both their tackles. I'd much rather have Herbert than Hurts.
That's not the question, though. Is the question the quarterback, or is it like the entire the job?
Well, that's what I have to work with.
Right. Yeah.
The quarterback's the linchpin to all of it. I got a younger quarterback versus who I saw late on the line last year and last game, who lost both his tackles. I just think there's more upside there. And as much as Jim is a nut, I'd rather work with Jim than Nick, if I'm being real.
Yeah, but I don't know. Again, like to me, I don't think that's a clear cut. You might be right, and if I stew on that, I might lean that way.
We all.
But yeah,
I mean, we all have a preference.
Like a slam
Listen, this isn't a anti anything. It's just
right.
If I'm the OC, where would I rather go? And I just think there's more upside in LA. And the other issue is, how do I know that Nick doesn't implode and thing doesn't get blown out? The guy was a threat of getting fired last year. Like, how do I know they're not going to blow him out?
But I think that then because there are more than just those other 2 jobs open, right? I think that you're looking at, you have Tampa, you have Arizona, you have Atlanta, you have.
Well, those are head jobs.
Yeah, but you're dealing with the quarterback. You're dealing with the ownership.
But a head job, you're going to get your 4 years. Whoever you marry,
maybe
you're going to. Well, but you're going to go in. Listen, am I clamoring to go to Arizona? No, right? They don't have a quarterback, right? Like, but again, that's a different job. That's a fixer up. Like, you got to go in and build a house. Yeah, this isn't build a house.
I think any coach is going to take a head coaching job over an offensive coordinator job, though. That's why I'm looking at how do you compare this offensive coordinator job versus all the other offensive coordinator jobs
Washington.
That are opening.
What I would take the Eagles over Washington.
Right. How about Tampa?
That's a tough one. I'd probably take the Eagles. The only thing that makes me, they do have. I like the young skill guys. Like, I like Ibuka. I like McMillan. I like Irving. But, Bowles is like Nick. Like, I don't know what's going to happen there. Right. And Baker, I don't know. I don't know how much I believe in Baker. So I'd probably take the Eagles.
I'm trying to think of if pick a generic head coaching candidate. Like let's say a defensive head coach. You're Jesse Minter gets hired at any of these jobs, and you are going to be the offensive coordinator for Jesse Minter, who's the defense coordinator of the Chargers, who a lot of people think is going to get a head job. So it's your show. You get to run it. Arizona, Raiders, Titans. Like all these jobs, there are a bunch of these jobs open where I'm like, yeah, like I'd rather be the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, but that's apples and oranges because again, you're going to go into a situation where you're part of the rebuild. It's a rebuild versus a team that is here. You're talking about these teams that are down here and that are going to try to finally get it right with a rebuild. Like you're here with a strong GM, right? Yep. But the truth of the matter is, it's hard to stay here. And after winning the Super Bowl and dropping down to here, which way are you going? So I don't know that I would discount that because I know there's job security there. This thing I can go in and it could detonate tomorrow. I don't know.
Yeah, to me, I think that there are a lot of reasons to like this job, and there's only 32 of these jobs, and
yeah.
To me, I would.
Yeah, I mean, if Howie asked me to do it, I would do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would rank this higher than a lot of the offensive coordinator openings.
Again, but you and I disagree on even the comparisons, apples and oranges. Like, I don't compare head coach job openings to established job openings, like established teams. Like, that's apples and oranges.
Yeah, no, every head coach opening is better than an offensive coordinator opening. I think that's fair. I'm saying
I know what you're saying.
To run the offense.
Well, yeah. I know what you're saying. We're using Minter as an example, but again,
right.
It's a completely new situation. I'm going to go in with Jesse, and we're going to go. All right, let's roll our sleeves up and let's try to build it. Right? It's a different situation than coming into Philadelphia where it's already built. Now you got to figure out whether or not you can, make it look good and fix the structure.
Right, but if there's only 32 and there's a handful of these are open, like these are the jobs that are available for these candidates, so that's what they're picking for.
Well, I'm just saying it's Eagles versus Washington versus Tampa versus Detroit versus the Chargers.
Yeah. I would put them maybe 2 on that list. I'd probably put them 2 on that list.
Over the Chargers.
I think I would take it over the Chargers, yeah.
Why?
Personally. Because of ownership and stability in the organization and just the proven track record.
I mean, the Chargers have... Yeah, go ahead.
Versus a team that hasn't gotten past the first round of the playoffs since, I was in diapers.
All right.
You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. Yeah, we definitely. I disagree with you, but that's fine. That's why we do it. I love it. I love the conversation. You're the best, Fran. A little preview into what you got going on.
Yeah, a week from today, I leave for Dallas. I'm going to be heading down to the Shrine Bowl, going right from there to Mobile, Alabama for the Senior Bowl. So I've got a big trip coming up here. I'll be on the road for 10 days, taking in a couple hundred prospects, few hundred prospects, come back for a couple weeks, then go out to Indianapolis for the Combine. You can check out all of my write-ups on all of these guys that I've studied so far. I've done 230 plus names already. There's like 300 basically write-ups in terms of all these prospects available for the 2026 draft. So if you've got inkling on who you want or who you think the Eagles should be looking at, become a diehard. Go check out the Diehard Draft Guide. If you want something for free, subscribe to my newsletter. It's a weekly email. It shows up in your inbox at the end of every week.
Great stuff. Can I come with you to the Combine?
I got new luggage for Christmas. I don't know if it's that big. I don't know if I can get you in there, but we can figure it out.
All right. I'll try. I'll try to lose some weight before then. Thank you, Franny. Appreciate it, brother. There he is, Fran Duffy.
Eddie Wright says if they lose AJ and Goddard, the only job less attractive is Washington.
I think Franny's putting a lot of stock into Howie and Jeffrey.
How dare he take shots at the Chargers and the Harbaugh Foundation on this show? How dare him?
What about that?
Does he know where he's at? Does he know where he's at?
I know.
Stop busting stuff.
Man.
No,
Come on. Come on, Fran.
I mean, you know how I feel about Herbert. I just, again.
And Harbaugh. Don't forget the other one.
Well, listen, he's a Magoo Harbaugh. Like sometimes I look at him, I go, is he all there? Or are you taking enough shots in the head?
Maybe they should go together. Maybe John should go out there and be the OC.
John's going to the Giants, man.
And they can be together. But
they
the Harbaugh brothers taking that over LA. Come on.
They couldn't do that. They fist fought in the backyard.
Yes, Big AD. I think the Goff job is more attractive with Goff and Amon St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs, and they're going to fix the offensive line. I think that's a more attractive offensive job.
What they like?
Someone was asking if Detroit is a more attractive job than the Eagles for coordinator. I would say, yeah.
I think Detroit. It's close.
It's the best one.
I think you get the best running back in the league.
Right.
Jahmyr Gibbs, and you got St. Brown.
Yeah, and the tight end will be back. Laporte will be back.
I don't even think that's close. I'm sorry. I hope, but all right. Let's take care of some business, and we got Mikey. I can't wait to talk to Sielski. Give it to me. How you doing, Mike?
Sielski. Here comes Mike Sielski.
All right, let's talk about some business. Let's talk about Parks Casino. A great night awaits you at Parks Casino. Girls' night out, guys' night out, date night. You got entertainment, you got the restaurants, you got the 360 lounge, you got all that incredible stuff happening at Parks Casino, man. Every night there's something happening there. How about some of the big acts at the Excite Center? Ooh, Saturday, January 31st, you got Marshall Tucker Band, Jefferson Starship. Coming up Friday, you got Queensryche.
Oh, love Queensryche.
You got the Piano Men Generation Show on February 7th, a tribute to Elton John and Billy Joel. February 28th, country artist Brett Young. Friday, March 6th, Candlebox. You got March 14th, Tracy Morgan, one of the great comedians. 20th and 21st, comedian Anthony Rodia. That's right. All kinds of stuff. Check it out. ParksCasino.com to buy tickets for all shows. Parks Casino. This is how you win. You have a gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Starting off the new year, I'm going to optimize me because I'm going to start taking Mars Men. Why? Because I've been feeling sluggish, and the 40s isn't hitting the same way as my 30s did. And Mars Men gives you the same benefits of optimized testosterone, energy, strength, and focus without shutting down your body. No synthetics, no needles, no dependency. It's like hitting that reset button on the hormone factory instead of shutting it down. And the best part, there's a 90-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk to you. Worst case, you don't love it, you get your money back. But 91% of users keep using it and keep those high energy levels. For a limited time, our listeners get 50% off for life, plus free shipping and 3 free gifts at mengotomars.com. It's the perfect way to kick off the new year strong. That's mengotomars.com for 50% off and 3 free gifts when you check out.
All right. Thank you, bro. Here's the bro. I can't wait to hear this, man. One of the great voices. Never pulls any punches. The one, the only, from the Inquirer on the Xfinity mobile call-in line, Mike Sielski.
Here comes Mike Sielski.
Good morning, Michael.
I feel like we have a real high standard to live up to today, and I watched that back and forth between you and Mikey Garofolo the other day. That was awesome. That was awesome. 2 cuz enter, 1 cuz leave. Loved it.
You know, I felt like Colonel Jessup, right? Like, I didn't want to say, get rid of, like, Sirianni's got to go. I didn't want to say it, right? I wanted it to be more pragmatic, but my true feelings came out, which is when he went, did you order the code red? Do you want Nick Sirianni fired? Yes, I do.
I think he wants to say it. Good stuff.
Yeah. I usually hate that stuff, but whatever. I don't know, Mike. I'm worried. I think I'm more worried than anybody else about the future. I think a lot of people think that you get a new OC in here. I mean, just heard Franny, that all of a sudden, it's back to glory days. I don't know.
They got a lot of decisions to make this offseason, and they have a lot of things they got to find out and learn. Like, is Lane Johnson coming back? And if he is, what kind of shape is he going to be in? And if he isn't, what the hell are you going to do at right tackle? And how does the rest of the line shape up? And what happens with A.J. Brown? And Saquon Barkley is a year older. And I'm not saying he was terrible this year or that he should have run for 2,000 yards again, but he is a running back. He'll be a year older. And Jalen Hurts will be a year older. He'll be 28. And he's not running the ball as much. And him running the ball is a big part of what makes this offense go when it goes. And who's your third receiver going to be? Or even your second receiver going to be if AJ's not back? Man, there are a lot of questions.
And what about your tight end? Because he's not coming back.
Yep, exactly. Lots of questions.
And your backup tight end stinks.
Yes. With all due respect to Grant Calcaterra, he's not a good blocker. Yes, correct.
So, and the issue with Jalen that worries me most is that he's taken a ton of hits. And I watched the quarterback a lot this year who didn't stand and stay in the pocket and get hit, smashed to deliver the ball. I saw a lot of bailing out of the pocket, sprinting right, and throwing the ball out of bounds, which is fine. But that you're going to need to, especially in the playoffs. You saw it. You've seen it all playoff long. Guys are getting Caleb Williams standing in there, delivering the ball.
If you are, this is something that to me doesn't get talked about enough with respect to Jalen, which is that he's not that tall. And if you are not that tall, you better be Drew Brees, where when you hit the top of your drop, you know exactly where you're going with the ball, and you can get the ball through the windows and the lanes that you have to throw it. And Jalen struggles with that, I think. And look, can they win with him? Of course they can win with him. They won with him. But the Eagles have to ask themselves, I think, what kind of conditions do we have to create around Jalen for him to be at his best? And can we create them? What's it going to take? What kind of coordinator do we have to hire? What kind of offense do we have to call? What kind of personnel do we have to have? They were able to pull it off last season, but they had the best offensive line in football by a mile. And they did not have that this season.
And they ran the ball. They still, in the pass game, there were still spells.
That goes without saying that they ran the ball. They built the offense around running the ball. And it wasn't just Saquon, it was Jalen running the ball. And those two aspects of the offense are not going to get any better for these two guys getting older.
And I look at it and I go, first of all, you got to move the pocket. Like, he's not Drew Brees that's going to take a 7-9 step drop and at the top of the drop deliver a strike. It's not who he is. He's got to get the ball out quick. You got to move the pocket. You got to be creative with him under center, right? And he's got to run. Like, Bryce Young is short. Bryce Young had a good season. Like, if you actually paid attention and watched it, he actually was effective at times. Like, you watch him against the Rams in the playoff game, he played well, right?
Yep.
It's unfair to say Caleb. He was the number 1 pick in the draft, and he's an elite talent, and he's got an elite coach in Ben Johnson, and you've seen him take huge strides this year. I mean, he looked phenomenal. But look at a guy like Purdy. Purdy runs, right? Like, he'll do what he can. He has to run. He has to run. Like, they got to get Jalen, and I think he has to work the middle of the field. I don't think it works just going outside. I think you got to go between the numbers.
Yeah, I think a lot of what you're saying is true. I like the idea of the moving of the pocket with respect to Jalen, help create throwing lanes, get him outside. He's not just a straight drop back, throw the ball, take the shotgun snap, throw the ball, all of that. Some of this is going to be incumbent on Jalen too, though. The thing that struck me about watching Purdy the other night, and you kind of know it from watching him on TV, but when you watch him live from up top in the press box or you watch the All 22, it really drives home the point of what an anticipatory thrower he is. That he makes up for his physical
shortcomings. Well, that's Shanahan, yeah.
Right. By, how many outs did he throw in that game the other night where it's like the ball seems to be, traveling through the air like it's a pigeon with one wing, and yet it gets there and isn't intercepted. Now, he was picked off twice because he was pressured and let the ball go late, but the big plays that they made down the field, he threw to open space, and the receiver got there before the defensive backs did and caught the ball in stride. And that is not necessarily one of Jalen's strengths. So can you get a coordinator who can tweak him in that regard too? There's so much going on here, I think. Look, did Kevin Patullo deserve to lose his job? Yeah, it probably did. But it's not going to fix every single thing, and there's still a lot of massaging and reshaping that's got to be done here.
And you have a roster that's completely in flux because, again, it looks like AJ's on his way out, which will be a cap hit. Then you go, all right, I got it. What am I doing on defense? How am I spending my money? Like, am I signing both tackles?
I don't know that you are. I mean, look, Jalen Carter last season looked like the second coming of Aaron Donald. And then literally less than a snap into the season, he's getting booted out of the game. Can you count on him to grow up? Jordan Davis took a major step forward this season. Do you count on him? And he's a buoyant, budding leader in that locker room. He is a personality. He's like BG, but a defensive tackle instead of a defensive end. Like, are you bringing him back? Because from a locker room standpoint, it probably would be a good idea. Are you letting Nakobe walk away? Probably, I guess.
Yeah, they will.
But,
another leader.
Another leader. You've got two tremendous players in the secondary.
You're still going to need another edge.
You're going to need another edge rusher. You're going to need help in the secondary, presumably. So lots of questions.
So the other thing is, all right, who's the OC and, who's the right fit? And then what about Nick? I was joking early, but what frustrates me about Nick, and you and I have talked about this, I brought up to you many times during the year, is that he can't fix things. Like, if there's an offensive issue, he can't fix it. And I go, all right, well, you're a CEO coach. So what do you do well? Well, you know what? The players play for him. Okay, that's good. Culture, okay. Now, I do see a lot of eruptions emotionally on the sidelines. The thing with AJ on Sunday. Like, I know you're upset, but it's not a good idea to get your guys' grill on national TV as that thing's going on. It's just, you're better off being stoic and having your assistants do it.
Yeah, look, my biggest, I like Nick a lot personally. My biggest complaint about him or criticism of him as a head coach is that he still needs to exercise better self-control in the moment. He allows his emotions to get the better of him, and it happens too often. It's not, him showing emotion is not calculated in the way it might be for some coaches or for some franchise quarterbacks. It's him reacting in the moment, and to me, he's got to quell that. I'm less down on him as a CEO coach than I think you are. And I want to ask you something because you probably know this better than I do. When something goes awry, when something has gone awry with the Baltimore Ravens offense over the last 18 years or the Pittsburgh Steelers offense over the last 19 years, did John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin step in and fix it?
No. And, here's the deal. To your point, as just a CEO coach, he has the same acumen as a special teams coach in Harbaugh and as a guy came from the defensive side of the ball and special teams in Tomlin. Now, Tomlin didn't choose the quarterbacks like Sirianni did. But just because those two guys were successful and did it over a long period of time and had a lot of gravitas doesn't automatically.
No, of course not.
Right? Like I know John Harbaugh. I knew him here. I've known him for a long time. Again, that's just me going, I trust him as a CEO. As much as he and Lamar Jackson didn't get along over the last, 5 years, it didn't become like an issue. Right? Like there was.
Well, I mean, it leaked out this season.
Yeah, but it took years, and it took them finally. Lamar had a bad season, right? Like he just did.
I guess it comes down to what standard.
I mean, I try. Like it's hard to divorce what I know and who I know, and I trust the older guy. I trust Tomlin. I love Mike Tomlin, right? Like I do.
Yeah.
Like I don't think Nick is that smart of a guy.
Okay.
I should say that. I mean, smart as a football man that comes from the offensive side of the ball. And yes, should I divorce myself and embrace him as a CEO coach? Okay. But I'd much rather have Kevin Stefanski.
Yeah, I know where you're coming from. And maybe what this requires is Nick has to have an offensive coordinator who has basically the same kind of carte blanche that a Vic Fangio has, and certainly has this, something approaching the same measure of acumen that a Fangio has over the defense. And that's okay. Like, I think when push comes to shove, a guy like a Harbaugh or a Tomlin, I'm not saying Sirianni is necessarily the same caliber of CEO coach as those guys are, but a CEO coach is probably going to need that. Belichick's the exception, where he's the CEO coach who also can tell the defensive coordinator, here's exactly what you ought to be doing.
And he can tell an offense coordinator that as well.
Yeah, but again, he's the exception to the rule. Yeah, he's the exception to the rule.
But here's the thing.
Having said that, whatever he was telling the people on those sides of the ball over his last 5 years in New England wasn't working. So, what are we talking about here?
Belichick?
Yeah, once Brady left, what was he saying that was
It wasn't 5 years with Belichick, but whatever.
4.
I'm with Brady.
Years.
I mean, listen, I hear you. I'm not questioning Belichick, dude. I mean, you can. I don't question.
I'm just saying.
I don't question.
Everything
I don't know. Into this. I feel like there's a lot of bend over backwards to save Sirianni, right? Like, oh my God, you can't. And I'm going, what am I missing?
Well, here's my question.
Because hold on, I saw a guy that was on the thread of he was at the guillotine was poised to come down on his neck last year, right? Mm-hmm. It was about to come down, and all of a sudden it was like, all right, well, maybe we should just run the ball. And Cooper DeJean comes in the lineup, and so does Quinyon, and they go on this great run thanks to a defensive coordinator and the idea of running the ball, and it's saved. And I go, yeah, all right.
I get all of that, but most coaches have situations like that. And my counter to that would be, since the guy got here, they have not had a losing season. they've reached 2 Super Bowls, and they've won 1. If by that standard, he deserves to lose his job, then think about the environment or the standard you're setting for somebody else to come in. If that
but that's not looking at it in between. Hold on one second, Mikey.
Yeah.
We are in overtime, overtime in this city. You're watching on any of the streaming services. Please make sure you're on YouTube and like and subscribe. We appreciate that. Listen, it's a great point. It's a great counterpoint you bring up. I don't look at it like, oh, well, he brought 2 Super Bowl appearances and all these winning seasons. He presided over it, and he deserves some credit. But it's a GM team. We know that certain teams are GM teams and certain teams are coaching teams, right? Where the coach has more of a say in the operations. Not, hey, Kellen's here, stay out. The quarterback goes, stay out of the room. And you saw him be like staying out of things. Like, I don't know, dude. I don't take it as black and white of, hey, you presided, so you're the reason why they went to 2 Super Bowls. I go, that's great.
I don't take it that way either. I'm just saying that there are certain coaches who are certain fits for certain teams. Chase Utley, Ryan Howard, Jimmy Rollins, Pat Burrell, they were already with the Phillies under Larry Bowa. And Larry Bowa is a brilliant baseball man, a great baseball man. He was not the right manager for that team. Charlie Manuel was. And I think that you don't necessarily have to be, and again, baseball and football are different sports.
I mean, listen, I get your analogy, again, it goes back to, I think and again, I feel bad because I like the guy. I don't want to, but I just think you're settling. I think you're settling for him as a coach. Now, listen, I could be wrong. I said, listen, if he makes a run this year, then he's proven it to me. Well, he didn't. He lost a game in which he was a 6-point favorite at home, where the other team lost its second best option in the first quarter with a torn Achilles, and he lost. And I go, all right, I was expecting, here you go. This is to prove your mettle, to prove your worth, right? Is your record real or is it phony?
But why? But why? You're just deciding. And again, I don't mean to come off like the world's biggest Nick apologist. Part of this is me playing devil's advocate to a certain degree. But you're just kind of saying well, this one game to me determines whether, as opposed to going 11-6. And winning the division again. And I know the division stunk again.
Oh, come on, brother. You can't give me 11-6 and a division title where this team is at is good? You're okay with that?
I'm not saying it's good relative to what they all look.
I mean, because I've heard that opinion being espoused, and I think that's ridiculous. I think that's an apologist. If you're going to tell me that is in that division that was horrible, that you're okay with that? Because I'm not.
Were they as good this season as they should have been? No, I'm not arguing that. What I'm trying to say is that if the standard for a coach losing his job is,
I'm not trying to set a standard off of that. I understand what you're trying to say. I'm not trying to create some standard.
No other way to
I'm just looking at it. Go, hey. This is not about the past. This is about the future. Are you going to get me out of the darkness and back into the light? Do I believe you can do that? That's my fundamental question. And my answer is, I don't think so. But that's just my opinion. And I could be completely wrong. And he's going to have his opportunity to fix it.
Yeah. And we'll see what he does. I don't necessarily look at, I'm not intimate. I've got to go back and look at John Harbaugh's career and Mike Tomlin's career to see if there were comparable seasons like this where they didn't meet expectations and they had a great team and they fell short.
You've been around a ton of coaches your whole life, your whole career. Ton of coaches.
Yeah.
He strike you as some sophisticated coach? Maybe be honest.
No, he doesn't strike me as a sophisticated coach. But
But what? He's not sophisticated. He doesn't strike you as such. Like you've met John Harbaugh, I presume. You've covered, right? Like,
of course. Yeah.
There's a different vibe feeling around a guy like that, and then around Nick. And again, I'm not saying it's right, wrong, whatever. I'm just giving you this. We're just talking about him, and I go, that's where I come from. And again, I like the guy, so I hope I'm wrong and he succeeds. And this is not Peterson Wentz 2.0, and at the end of next year, Howie's not going, all right, new coach, new quarterback. We're going to redo it again, and I'll fix it and get us back to where we want to were, because this is a GM front office team.
Look, I don't necessarily get wowed by do I think John Harbaugh is a good coach? Yes, of course I think John Harbaugh is a good coach. Do I think Mike Tomlin is a good coach? Yeah. Mike Tomlin has never struck me as a complex thinking kind of, he's not a schemer the way an Andy Reid is, or even the way Brian Flores is defensively. Like, he's a culture guy. That's what Nick is. Is he as good as it is some other guys? No. That's the role that, in a lot of respects, Jeffrey and Howie are asking him to fill. And 5 years of a Super Bowl win, a Super Bowl berth, 5 playoff appearances, 5 winning seasons.
I get the resume. I get it. I get the resume. Yeah, I mean, you give him more credit for that than I do. That's all.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay.
I mean,
yeah,
I just don't believe it was him. I believe there were a lot of people, not anybody, but I believe that there were a lot of coaches, given that what he had, that would have succeeded. That's all.
Okay. Fair enough.
And I think there's too many reports. I know what you're saying about a concern, Mike, but there's enough reports out there from national people that they kind of view Nick as just a passenger on this train and not really adding much to what's going on here. So I think in the coaching circles, if they fired Nick, I don't think other people would be worried that it'd be a quick trigger, because I think in their circles, Nick's not adding much here.
Yeah, it's exactly the same situation with Doug Peterson. It's exactly the same way. And I think it's something that Jeffrey and Howie maybe ought to take a look at too, because the perception now, look, they win and they're great. And Ant's right, they're a GM-driven team. They're an ownership-driven team. But if you're going to go through this all the time, then, okay, you better resign yourself to going through this all the time.
Well, Doug kind of chose his way out by, he died on, the Press Taylor Hill.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like he was forced out. He had a choice to make, Doug, and he made his choice.
And a coach who wins, any coach who wins a Super Bowl, no matter the circumstances, is going to make that choice. Because every coach who wins a Super Bowl
where does Brian
Billick won the Super Bowl.
Where does Brian Billick fit into this? Who wins a Super Bowl as an offensive guy with a defense, and in 2 years is out and never coaches again?
Yeah, I mean, Billick's a different personality type too. Maybe more similar to Nick than I want to acknowledge. I've never had a conversation. I've talked to Brian Billick. If there's anything wrong with football, he should go back and try to fix it, because clearly he invented the game. But that's Billick too. There's always other factors. Always other factors.
I agree. I don't think this is. I mean, it's a great debate, and I hate feeling. I'm not comfortable in the role of I don't ask for guys' jobs and stuff like that. I mean, it's not, unless it's like Patullo had to go. I mean, that just was an obvious situation.
Sure.
Like, I get Nick. I didn't think that they were going to fire him, but when the conversation happens and you and I are talking, or me and Garofalo are talking, and I go, and I'll fully admit that I know Kevin Stefanski. I've talked football with Kevin Stefanski. I know people around the league. I know how highly regarded. I've talked to Joe Flacco about Kevin Stefanski.
Yeah.
And I go, that's the kind of guy I want. But that's just my preference, right? Like, I want a guy that I know that I don't have to worry about the OC train, right? Is I get a young guy and he gets a job, or I get this guy and he fails. I know I got Kevin Stefanski. That's it. I don't have to worry about it. I got a really good offensive guy. I got a good coach. He's different than Nick, but that's my own preference.
So if Jeffrey and Howie are smart football guys, why haven't they done what you suggested they do? Why haven't they fired Nick and hired a Stefanski?
Because I think
or someone like him?
I think they take I think they go, you know what, Nick, it's hard to fire a coach off a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but now he's not off a Super Bowl. He's off a first-round loss.
Yeah, but again, I'm making the Sielski argument. Like, I'm
no,
setting a precedent of I got the guy going to 2 Super Bowls. It's not right to fire him. So we're going to wait and we'll see how he does next year. Give him every opportunity.
Okay. Even though that burns you with respect to Andy and that burns you with respect to Chip, you're going to go back and do it again. I mean, I'm not arguing one way or another. All I'm saying is
wait. Wait. The Andy Chip thing.
Yeah, like Andy had a 4-8 was a 4-8 season in 2011 with the Dream Team, and they won their last 4 games and were 8-8. And they said, "We'll give him one more try to turn this around," and it blew up, and they had to fire him anyway. And the
Dream Team wasn't his, but go ahead.
No, I know, but they wasted a season, right?
Yeah.
Chip, they're going to give 2015. They're going to give Chip the opportunity to prove himself, and they wasted a season. So why haven't they learned their lesson and said, you know what?
Because I don't think they think it's the same situation. I think they think that, all right, instead of making a rash decision, let's see if I can I can easily make the argument. I'm going to bring in an OC that is a proven guy, take one more shot as is. I got cap stuff happening, right? Let me see where I'm at. And if next year's a down year, well, then I say goodbye to the coach and the quarterback, and I start afresh.
Yeah, that may very well happen. I'm just saying
because
that they've had.
You're also have the Jalen situation,
right?
And Nick, right? So you still the Jalen things too. Like I got to give him next year. If he has a bad year again, now I got to think about a quarterback. No.
Yes, absolutely, you do.
How we built the contract where after next year you can get out of it.
Yes, I absolutely agree with that.
So why not say, hey, let's see if I get the OC right, take a shot with the guys coming back, and if it doesn't work out, then I'm Howie the Wizard. I come in, I'll do it a third guy with a new coach and a new quarterback.
I understand that that's what they're doing, and I would do the same thing. I'm only asking why they're not doing what you are suggesting, because they've done what they're going to do before, and it cost them a full season, is what I'm saying. So, like, I'm almost
but your answer is your
argument.
answer. Your answer is that.
Yeah, I know. I'm just. It's a thought.
It would take a lot. I'm not so sure if I was in Howie's shoes. As much as I could be a blowhard, right, and say in media that if I were Howie, I would go hire Kevin Stefanski. I don't know. If I was sitting in his shoes and I had every bit of information, I may look at it the same way and go, listen, I love Kevin. It's not the time for us to make a move yet. Like seriously, like that. I mean, that's why I'm not freaking out going, oh my God, it's so bad.
Right.
And belaboring it. I get it. Like we just had that moment and we just look at it. And I preface this by saying a lot of it's personal, like in the sense of what do I prefer as a coach?
Yeah.
I would never want a CEO coach if I were Howie Roseman.
Okay.
I'm not a fan.
That's fair. I don't mind the CEO coach.
Yeah, I wouldn't hire. Like I love Harbaugh and I love Tomlin, but I'm not interested in that. I want you to own one side of the ball.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't necessarily need that. I think that's probably our fundamental disagreement.
Yeah. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. It's awesome. Who do you want as OC?
I want Mike McDaniel just because he'll be fun to cover. I mean, that guy, between him and Nick, the press conferences are going to be lit.
I know. Are they?
No, but he's creative too. I mean,
he is creative, and he uses the middle of the field.
Today. Yeah, exactly.
Are they closer? And again, I don't know. All right, are they closer to the Doug Carson end, or are they closer to the Kellen Moore ascent? Reascent.
gun to my head, they're probably closer to the Doug Carson descent because there's so much up in the air right now.
Yeah, that's my fear. That's my biggest fear, Mike. I look at it and I go, because I don't see a pathway that AJ's back.
I don't see a pathway where AJ's back. I don't see a pathway where the line gets back to what it was last season, given Lane's health and age and the performance of that line. Apart from him this season, unless they stumble into another Lane Johnson and good in the draft, and good luck doing that. I mean, their most important draft pick of the last 20 years, one could argue. So yeah, like they're kind of teetering here, and they did the same kind of thing heading into 2020. Remember, they brought in a whole bunch of different kinds of guys who were going to rethink the offense. And in the end, Wentz played terribly and the line couldn't protect him and it all went to pot.
Yeah, that's my biggest fear, man. I worry about, and I worry about Jalen. I worry about him, man. I worry about him. Listen, if Jalen was 2022 Jalen,
different.
I think, hey, I wouldn't be saying go get another head coach because I believe that they could have, but I'm worried about unless he's got to be dynamic. They got to fix the pass game. You can't have another year where, and I don't know, the other thing I don't know, and I'll ask you this, is I don't know Sirianni's, it's a Sirianni production offensively, right? He doesn't call the plays, and he's maybe not but he may design some stuff, and it's his philosophy. It was his philosophy to win the turnover battle and to be ultra conservative.
Right.
Are you
going to change that?
Yeah.
Are you going to change that?
Right.
Has to. Can't.
Yeah, they're going to have to open it up more. They're going to have to.
But that's your guy's. But that's his philosophy, right?
I know, but it cost him this year. And everybody saw, this is literally what I wrote off the 49ers game. They played all season like they were playing not to lose. And it's the reason they lost in the end. And he may need to take a step back and rethink that. After 5 years of it working, and you have this line, and you have these running backs, and you have a quarterback who can run, you're not going to have that now, Nick. So is what you're going to do, is what you want to do going to work?
So now we're back at he's not involved in the offense. His foundation, one of his main foundational premises is thrown out the window, and the vibes weren't great this year. But come on back. Seems crazy.
Well,
you're going to fire the guy after one.
I'm not relitigating this.
Yeah, I know. I'm just rehashing. I'm just summarizing what we're going through here. Even though I look like I'm 4 years old because the seat keeps shrinking and sinking.
Do you need a phone book?
Hey guys, thanks for letting me hang out today. It's been really good. Yeah, I like Bill Walsh as OC, please.
You know what it is though? When you look at the rest of the playoffs and you watch these teams, it looks like a completely different brand of football.
Yeah, it does. It does.
It's kind of sobering in that sense.
Yeah, very much. Look at Josh Allen play quarterback. Look at what Sean McVay calls for the Rams.
Ben Johnson, watching
Ben Johnson,
the Packers and Bears throwing haymakers at the end of that game. Buffalo and Jacksonville throwing haymakers. They both were going back and forth. I don't know. I may just lean in on defense. If I were Howie, what I would do is sign both. Listen, I get your point about Jalen and Carter, and I worry about, I'm going to give him a lot of money, but he's such a talent.
Yeah.
I agree with you about Jordan Davis and what he means to that locker room. I might just go all in and try to build the Texans 2.0. I'm that close to it anyway. I got a great DC. Why not?
Right. Lean into it. I actually put that in my column today. That one of the ways they can mitigate whatever's going to happen on the offensive side of the ball is to do exactly that, to lean into becoming an incredibly great defense a la the Texans and make that your identity.
Yes.
But that would require Howie and Jeffrey shifting a little bit in the same way that it would require Nick shifting a little bit.
I think that's your best pathway to getting back to a Super Bowl or back to a run. Yeah.
Yep. I'm with you. Especially because, as somebody talked about like quarterbacks coming out of college now. Are you going to have the sheer number of quarterbacks who can just carry a team in the way they used to? Because the college game is so different from the NFL game, and so much of what these guys do is controlled now.
Although I think the fact that they're going to be older coming out because they're all staying and getting paid will help their transition.
Yeah. Good point.
I love that Mendoza, man.
He looks really good, man. He looks really good. He just everything about him,
what he says, and he's just nobody throws a back shoulder throw that way that kid does.
Yeah, he looks really good.
I love Cignetti though. Like that's my kind of coach, right? Like he gets a turnover. It's first and goal at the 4. There's nothing cute. Run, and then he gets in.
Yeah, and he's got a team that's bigger and stronger than everybody else. It'll be that national championship game will be fun to watch because I think Indiana will beat Miami, and it's an awesome story.
All right, we go 4 for 4. So real quick, Bo, we getting Bo?
I think you probably are.
Yeah, Sielski.
I don't know if I said this to you guys. I think I said it with Rob on the Saturday show the other day. Part of the reason I think they're going to go after Bichette goes beyond baseball. I think it's about, like, in today's day and age, you need to like re-energize a fan base with moves sometimes. And
totally right.
If you bring the same group back, everybody in Philadelphia is going to be like, ugh. So
totally right.
There's an element of like you've got to bring some juice, and Bichette would bring juice.
He's younger than the entire daycare.
Yeah,
that's what he's younger than Stockbohm and Marsh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Fly guys, they're not the Lightning, so we know that. But playoffs, right? Like you're on board with that?
I would be all right if they made the playoffs. I'm not sure they're going to make the playoffs.
Okay.
Well, it's a long season.
Yeah, it
long
is.
Season.
It is. And then, dude, clap your hands. This East. Listen, man, when they're all healthy and they're playing like that, I think it'd beat anybody in the East.
You said the 4 important words. When they're all healthy.
Yeah.
The big man needs to be healthy, and I'll believe it when I see it. As great as he's looked at times, dunking the ball and all of that.
Yeah. I got you. What's new in your world?
Doing edits on the Rocky book. Trims and cuts and ads and tweaks and all that stuff.
So how much red ink was did your editor give you?
A decent amount. He's very, very, very meticulous. So, it'll be like he'll go through like the first 80 pages and it's like 3 pages worth of edits, but some of them are like, is this the right word, or maybe just add a little line here. So a lot of it is like tweaking really small stuff.
Yeah, that's good.
But it's fun. I like going through that process.
Yeah, I hate that process. It's my least favorite process.
I like editing.
You like the edit?
Yeah.
Oh, I hate it. Oh.
It's hard. There are sections where I'll have 2 pages about the history of United Artists Theater studios, because I find it interesting and I think the reader might find it interesting. And my editor's like, no, that needs to be 2 paragraphs. And that part is challenging, but just the going back and smoothing everything over, I like.
Yeah, and you like it too?
I like editing, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I hate it. There's nothing redeeming it. I don't
tweaking
like
it, man. You make it better. I'm an eternal editor. If I don't have deadlines, I'll edit for years.
Well,
just go back and reread and edit.
You know what it is? My brain, first of all, I hate when they go, because they could be right, and they go, well, this is and you can make it better. I agree with you guys. Mm-hmm. But it's like, all right, like once I live with it,
yeah,
hard to go back in.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like the hardest parts are the 2 pages that I've got to condense to 2 paragraphs.
Yes.
It's like, oh, I love all this stuff. And
yes.
Look at that one sentence I had in there.
Yes.
That's such a good turn of phrase. I don't want to take that out.
Yes.
Yeah, but you got to kill your darlings. You got to kill your darlings.
I know. We love you, brother. You're the best, man. It's always great. I just love our conversations. Love them.
I do too, man. Thanks.
Thanks, buddy. Here he is, the great Mike Sielski. Good debate.
Yeah. You've been on fire this week. I just feel like a passenger eating popcorn over here. You've been at it. I love it.
No, I'm not. Again, and I don't want to make this out to like vendetta or, I got Nick in the crosshairs, but I'm concerned. Like I got legitimate concerns. Like I want to relive last year. Like I want that again.
You want to relive? Oh, the Super Bowl year.
Super Bowl
year.
Yes. I want that again. I want them to reach those heights.
Yeah, it was like utopia. It was a great season.
I mean,
every season was fun. This year was the complete opposite.
Listen, if they got to the NFC Championship game or even got the next week against Chicago, you wouldn't have heard a peep out of me. But the abrupt loss really shook me.
When they went out and how they went out, and to that team, it was hard, man.
Yeah,
I think we were all depressed as a city.
Like Mike said, well, it's about that one game. And he's not wrong. I'm not trying to make it about the one game, but the one game was the culmination of a season.
Oh, it was everything we experienced all season.
And that's what really shakes my foundation in belief in the Nick.
I think you're founded in that.
And again,
I'm amazed that people have confidence in him and are just like, oh, we're going to get rid of this guy, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I'm amazed that they see it that way.
Yeah, I am too. And again, I like him. Like, I really do like him. Like, I almost want to know a little bit more about in his mind how he answers certain things. Because that would also sway me. Like having a deep conversation.
You think you can get a real serious answer out of him instead
of
a word
if I'm
salad?
Howie, I'm going to sit down with him and go, well, let's talk about certain dynamics of what your philosophy is and why you do certain things or did certain things.
Right. You think you get a serious, straight answer and not a bunch of mumble? Well, we believe this and this.
No, I believe I would.
Yeah.
I would. I believe that.
All right. I don't know if he knows anything, like much of stuff. Like why he does stuff. I think it
I mean, geez, if that's the case, then he really. I'm trying to give it the benefit.
He's never come out as I mean, maybe it's probably just because he's in front of a microphone.
Yeah, I mean the microphone stuff. Yeah, I hear he's really buttoned up behind the scenes. Like I hear he's got good stuff behind the scenes. So I take that at face value. I hear good things about him behind the scenes. Yeah. Anyway. It's fascinating. Like this whole this whole off season is going to be fascinating.
Just give us Boba Shep, please.
Yeah, I need Boba.
I got my
if Boba
notifications
Shep
on.
doesn't
Ready for the
happen,
tweet.
I will be devastated. Absolutely devastated.
This whole community, the whole Delaware Valley is going to be a mess for months.
You know what's nuts is like last night, I felt it. There was because there was nothing last night. No sports last night.
Nothing at all.
And that's going to be, other than your Flyers Sixer games when they happen, it's going to be a lot of that.
Yeah, I went out last night. I couldn't take it.
It was a movie night for me. 3:10 to Yuma.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, no, I got you. All right, boys. So I guess we do back in the day.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is going to make you feel good.
We're going back. We're going back. We're going back in the day with True Mark. Oh, yeah.
All right, like most kids, no one really likes going back to school in the summer for the most part. But there was one part of preparing for going back to school that always made me excited. And it's picking up a pack of these so you can go back to school. Do you remember the NFL team pencils packs?
I do, dude. I do. That's awesome.
I love those things.
That's awesome.
Dude, I don't know what it was. But
dude,
man,
I had them.
Yeah,
dude, I had
everybody,
them.
Like, you had to have them to go back to school.
Wow. I love that.
Do they still do it? I don't even know. People
I don't
use
know,
pencils
dude.
anymore in school?
Nah.
Everything on
I
computers?
feel like everything's computerized now.
Well, everybody's iPad.
Yeah.
They still take notes. Like my kids still take notes. No pencil though. Oh
Yeah,
man,
I love
look at
getting
that.
set.
That's awesome.
Take me back.
That's you know what it is? You put
It's a good pencil.
I had NFL sheets.
Yeah.
I had an NFL lamp. I had NFL curtains.
I had a little like a little radio. It was an Eagles helmet.
Yeah, it was a football. Yeah.
Little helmet.
It's a number
helmet,
two.
yeah.
Helmet radio.
It's a number 2 pencil as well. You could do tests with that.
Sure.
Little Scantron.
I
Remember those.
love that
Buccaneers were a nice orange.
You can put NFL on anything.
Yeah. I know.
I'm in.
I know.
I'm completely in. All right, guys, that's going to do for us. How's the chat? You guys all right today?
Yeah, the chat doesn't love. They're pro Nick, pro Jalen.
Pro Jalen.
Yeah.
What do you mean pro Jalen?
Like I had some discussion saying that final play, like I believe Jalen had some input into that, and they're not buying it.
I believe he did, but I don't think it's his fault. I believe he was thrust into action because I don't think that Patullo knew what to call.
Right.
My belief is that he didn't really have an answer for it. They call timeout, and Nick doesn't have an answer for it.
No,
and Jalen's like, all right, let's just run this.
You can see Jalen active in the conversation.
Right. I think it was like out of frustration.
Yeah.
I wouldn't castigate Jalen for that.
I guess my concern is that's the play he called. That's what he wanted.
I just think it was like, hey, man, let's just come. We got to get moving. How many times you see him like this? Like, give me the play.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think that's an anti. I didn't take that as anti-Jalen at all. I give him benefit of doubt. I give him benefit of doubt that he actually was like, dude, let's just run this. Mm-hmm. Like, he actually took charge.
Yeah, and there's some, like when we talk about his limitations and stuff, it's not, like, nobody hates Jalen Hurts. We're just objectively talking about he's got limitations to his game. If he's not going to run the ball, he's a slightly above average quarterback.
There's a lot of
just discussion about that. That's all.
Like, here's what I would say. You guys that he could do no wrong, and again, I'm not picking at him, but you got to stay in the pocket longer than he did. You guys got to see that. Like, if you're watching being objective, you like the new OC has to tell him, dude, I need you in the pocket. Like, you got to stay. You either subtle movements, but you just can't bail and sprint right.
No, and
I would love for someone in the chat that would how do you disagree with that? That just makes him better.
And I don't watch the All-22, but like Murph put out one of the plays. It's one of the drops deep to AJ. And Brady had talked about those balls are hard to throw and track in the wind like that. But you had a short motion with Devontae across the middle wide open. And that's not a Patullo problem. That play across the middle is wide open, and Jalen just doesn't look at it.
Well, my beef is more with, like, I just need you in the pocket, or move around. Like, you just can't bail.
Step up.
I saw too much bailing out of the pocket, and that was against the Niners that didn't have a rush.
Yeah.
So I just need to see a little bit more out of that. Like, I'm hoping a new OC brings that out of him.
Hope so.
Like, that there's a transformation into.
I think it's a confidence issue too. I don't think he had any confidence.
Total confidence.
So the more confidence he has with an OC,
I heard that
I think he'll be stronger.
times from people about their whole offense had no confidence. So maybe that gets fixed.
Yeah, that'll help, I think.
All right. That's going to do it. I'm sure we'll have this conversation again and again and again. Love you guys. Have a great day.
We all silly like the mayor.